Welcome to the 2023 Uteck Bowl, where dreams hang in the balance. This national semifinal showdown features two of the biggest football programs in Canada. The Western Mustangs, led by coach Greg Marshall, have been an offensive powerhouse all season long. Quarterback Evan Hillick led the nation in touchdowns. One big reason is Seth Robertson. He's a big play threat every time he touches the ball. However, Coach Marco Adiluca and the University of Montreal Carabins has some dangerous scoring threats of their own. Their leader, quarterback Jonathan Senecal, has produced 15 touchdowns and over 2,200 yards this season. The Carabin defense is, in a word, formidable. They've allowed the fewest points of any team this year. When a team with the most touchdowns versus the team with the fewest points allowed, something's got to give. And it will today. We are on the road to the Canada Life Vanier Cup. It's game time for the 2023 Uteck Bowl.
Let's go!
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2023 Uteck Bowl on this beautiful Saturday afternoon from the University of Montreal campus. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan here in this call. Andrew, good afternoon to you. Western Montreal, two of the biggest hitters in Canada going at it this afternoon for the right to go to the Vanier Cup next weekend.
Yeah, it's a beautiful afternoon out here in Montreal. Number 1 and 2 teams from the season facing off. It's going to be a battle of the juggernauts and surely what is the favorite for the Vanier Cup next week.
Let's dive into the Western offense here, Andrew. They're real and they're spectacular, led by their star quarterback, Evan Hillick, who had a spectacular year, got banged up towards the end, but this is an unbelievable offense.
Yeah, as we saw in the Yates Cup, Evan Hillick was the difference maker. He was a little banged up. He got injured, was able to make it back into the fourth quarter, and that truly was the difference for the momentum in that game.
And you talk about Evan Hillick, what he did during the regular season, one of the young stars on the rise for this OUA power with the Western Mustangs. And we talk about his pass catchers. And one of them, Seth Robertson, who had a phenomenal year for the Mustangs on that loaded front attack that they have. He was unbelievable during the regular season. It was great for them during the playoffs as well.
Yeah, Seth Robertson, keep an eye out for number 11. He was a second-team OUA All-Star. But in addition to Robertson was Jamal and Savon Magne-Jones, who were number 4 and 5 in average receiving yards throughout the season.
And finally, we talk about the ground game. They've been banged up at the running back position earlier this season, losing their top 2 hitters, but they got 2 of them in Thompson and Dolby, who've been the 1-2 punch during this playoff run for them.
It's surprising to see so much depth at that running back position. Western losing their top 2 runners that were healthy for the majority of the season, and now in that Yates Cup, we saw that 1-2 punch, as you mentioned, between Troy Thompson and Ethan Dolby. That's number 26 and 29.
And on to the Carabins and their defense. They are spectacular. They have allowed the least amount of points, and at home, they're very tough to penetrate.
Yeah, so we're going to see basically the number 1 offense versus the number 1 defense. As you see on your screen there, points allowed first, points per game allowed first, and then fumble recoveries and interceptions, 2 and 3. Against some pretty strong competition in that RSEQ. There's no gimmies in the RSEQ. Playing Laval twice in the regular season and then having to go against Laval, holding them to 6 points in the Dunsmore Cup last week.
Well, talk about what they have. There's some big hitters across the board for this game. We cannot wait to bring you this game, the U Sports, on CBC. It is Western, the Yates Cup champions, against the Carabins de Montreal, the Dunsmore Cup champions. One's going to the Canada Life Vanier Cup coming up next here on U Sports and CBC.
still. Let me hold your hand till I have my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the 2023 Uteck Bowl on this Saturday afternoon from the University of Montreal campus. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan. The weather today, it's not going to be summer weather here, Andrew. It's going to be very cold in Montreal.
Yeah, and something that you can't underestimate here, in addition to the elements of the weather, is the atmosphere there at Sepsum in Montreal. Atop of Mount Royal, there can be some tricky gusts of wind, although the wind isn't all that heavy today. But I don't think weather will play a factor into this.
And the referees today, you have a melange of OUA and RSEQ. Stéphane Roy is the head referee today. And it's going to be a very close affair because both these teams, they love the physicality in this matchup. Yeah,
when we look at the physicality, I think that made a difference up front on the lines. In the Yates Cup last week, Western just seemed to have a bit more push. Then when you're talking about special teams, we have one of the best special teams out of Western. However, the physicality with the University of Montreal special teams is unparalleled in the country.
And these two coaches, they're close friends off the football field, but now they are enemies on this day. The destination is the Vanier Cup. The slogan of the province of Ontario is yours to discover. For the next 60 minutes, we will discover whether Montreal or Western will punch their passports to the Limestone City. All it will take is a moment of brilliance or a moment of chaos. That will extend the season by one more week. And for those who are curious, we do have the TVA Sport feed for this game, and we're underway for the 2023 Uteck Bowl. Returnable on the far side, up ahead towards the 25, and that is where Western will begin their voyage. They scored under 44 points during the regular season. 6 times they scored 31 plus points or more. And of course, that one against York when they scored 83. So Evan Hillick at quarterback, what do you expect from them early on here with their offense moving forward?
Yeah, I expect a really balanced attack. We have a lot of weapons at wide receiver. Keep an eye out for Magnier Jones in addition to Robertson. But between Thompson and Dolby, the 1-2 punch at running back, their third and fourth string running back throughout the season, I expect a pretty balanced attack.
And their left tackle, Eric Anderson, back. Coach Marshall, very happy to see him back. Here's the first play. Here's a run to the right side, up ahead to the 35, and the Quebec native, Troy Thompson, getting his first touch of the day. And you can see his strength that he has. In the front four for the UDM Carabins, Jeremiah Ojo, the defensive end, is a big hitter on that defense.
Yeah, he's a difference maker, and he's someone that's going to punch you right in the mouth early on and make it felt.
And the back line, Kalen Sincere had the pick 6 against Laval last weekend. Second down for the Mustangs. Hillick going deep near side. That is caught at the 49-yard line. And Magnier Jones, welcome to the show. He had 48 catches during the regular season, and a big one right there to silence the U of M crowd.
Speaking of that U of M crowd, it is one of the loudest atmospheres in all of U Sports. However, not a factor so far. We see 2 first downs already.
And you talk about Magnier Jones, he had 4 games of 104 yards or more during the regular season. Here's another run up the gut towards the 44-yard line, and now we'll go for a few yards. Thompson again. You talk about his size. He's got that Mack truck-like size, almost a dreadnought out there, going up against the girth of the U of M front seven.
Yeah, Thompson, 5'11", 236. He's a fire hydrant out there. The only player on Western born in the 90s, and he's in his final year, but getting his first
Hillick,
playoff action there.
Pressure over the middle. That's picked up by Montreal. To the 45, and away they go. The first turnover goes for the Carabins, and that is picked off. And the first sign of angst comes through, and a massive play for the Carabins to get that INT early on.
Yeah, Western so far, that's the first time they've gone right up the middle over the top.
And Nick Waugh
You
with
see
the
a
INT.
blitz package and a few games there by the D-line into triple coverage. Not the smartest move, and Waugh with the belt.
During the regular season, they had 13 INTs, which is number 2 in the nation. Here's Jonathan Senecal's first trip. Hitch to the left. That's called by Carl Chabot to the 45, navigating his way up to the 50, brought down by the second-level defense of the Mustangs. And his second down will come up here for the Carabin offense. And Jonathan Senecal, the all-world for the Carabin during the regular season, had a marvelous year. And you talk about his pass catchers, Legault, Larose, Chabot, and Jones, 4 incredible pass catchers.
Yeah, we just saw Chabot out there on the screen. Something that we expect to see is dynamic plays from this offense. They like a lot of motions. They like to create confusion.
And the 2nd and 3 for the Carabins. Here's a run towards the play action now. And it's Senecal. He will slide in at the edge of Logo at the 50-yard line as he did a little play action on that play. And Jonathan Senecal, beyond his arm, can run the football with great efficiency during the regular season. He had 394 yards.
He's being touted as the closest thing to Trey Ford since Trey Ford. Not afraid to call his own number. I was talking with a member of the Western defensive coaching staff yesterday, and his ability to make split decisions is like no other. Very Kyle Quinlan-esque from the old McMaster Vanier Cup era.
We'll see from the early clues of this Carabin offense. Fired away to the hook. That's caught to the far side. Working their way towards the 45. And a gang of Mustangs coming through and led by Jackson Finley, who had a massive INT for the Mustangs last week. They say he's one of the best on this Mustangs defense, as you see from the replay.
Yeah, the Western defensive coaches are telling me that he is the best player on their defensive squad there, and he really breathes the lifeblood into that team.
And you talk about the Mustangs defense, their secondary. They had some injuries throughout the course of the regular season, but they look very healthy now. 2nd and 4 for the Carabins. Senecal going deep near side and a 50-50, and that is picked off. And the referee says conversation has ensued. They point the other way. Saunders in on the play. Senecal trying to plead his case, and we still have a congregation of referees conversing about this. And a pickoff for the Mustangs on the Carabins.
Second pick of the game, less than 5 minutes in. Greg Marshall doesn't look happy there, but I'm sure he's delighted.
And you saw right there a beautiful execution coming through for the Mustangs. And Jacob Saunders getting his first INT of the playoffs. During the regular season, the Mustangs had 14 INTs. So a massive play for the Western Mustangs against the Montreal Carabins. It's still 0-0 from the 2023 Uteck Bowl. Evan Hillick coming back at quarterback, looking to redeem himself after the first drive of the INT. Another handoff towards the left side, and now it is Dolby who will get his first carry. He's brought down by St. Cyr, and we're seeing the melange of Thompson and Dolby early on here, and we're seeing the early clues from Western. They want to really establish their ground game.
Yeah, so Thompson, Dolby, they're keeping the legs fresh. They're just trying to pound the run attack when they can, and keep an eye out. They will be running a lot to the left, something that we saw quite a lot in the Yates Cup.
Another run for Dolby up the guts, and he will be shy. It'll be 3rd down coming up here for Western as he was brought down by the secondary of UDM, and Hillick looking towards the sideline to see what the next call will be as we're 5 minutes into this first quarter, and they will punt the ball away and play the field position territory with UDM. And you can see Dolby getting his first carry. Talk about what he's brought to this team here. He saw minimal action during the regular season, but had 55 yards against York University. And here's Chabot, who's loading at his own 42-yard line. And we talk about the punting coming up here for the Mustangs. A.J. Williamson under 38 yards per punt. And that will go into the Mount Royal background, and this will be to the far side. Chabot in a one hop towards the 40. IDs, and he will go out. And through 5.5 minutes of play, a couple of INTs, it is 0-0 between Western and Montreal. You're watching the U Sports on CBC.
Was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the 2023 Uteck Bowl. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan on the Saturday afternoon, the penultimate game before the Canada Life Vanier Cup next weekend. We will have one half of the bracket determined in a few hours, and of course UBC St. FX on the West Coast. But right now, Andrew, tail of the tape. So far, we've seen one turnover each from both sides. Is angst a big issue for both teams early on here?
I would think so. I mean, we haven't really seen Western challenged throughout the season, other than both games against Laurier. Then we also see University of Montreal. Uncharacteristic interception early, trying to force something that wasn't there into double coverage. I think that the big stage is taking a bit of a toll, but the cobwebs are all brushed off at this point.
Well, we hope that is the case for U of M in their last 3 home games. 2 of the last 3, they scored 14 points or less. That was a loss to Concordia, their own lone home loss of the campaign.
Yep. And
they won 12-6 against Laval and the Dunsmore. And now here we are, 0-0 in this first quarter play. Motion now towards the near side right of the attack for the Carabins. Senecal, flush to the left. Pressure now towards the far side, throwing off balance, and that is caught for a first down and more. And his sure-handed target, William Legault, 27 catches during the regular season. That's his safety valve when it comes to the pass and play.
Yeah, the second-year receiver, Legault. A scramble by Senecal, a really good pursuit by Western's defensive end, Max von Muehlholdolfer.
And it'll be 1st and 10. He only had 2 catches for 4 yards in the Dunsmore Cup final last week. Legault, and he's off and running. Senecal, play action. Pumping, rolling to the right. Pressure now from the Mustangs defense. And he will throw that, and that is caught near sides by Dudley Jones. His wideout, his first catch of the day. Jones had 3 for 39 yards 3 times during the regular season, but that's a huge one on that first down play.
Yeah, Alexandre Jones Dudley pulling it in. We see another scramble. What that really means here is that Western is putting the pressure on up front with the front 7. They're showing blitz. They're dropping a few. They're motioning halves over into the middle.
And now it is the first down for U of M. 7:56 left in this first quarter play. Senecal, handoff towards the middle, and this will get up towards the first down marker, and that is the first carry for Luca Dembele, who had 20 carries during the regular season. And now you're starting to see the mix of the ground game to kind of keep Western on their heels a little bit.
Yeah, after a number of passes there, got to keep Western true. They can't always be showing blitz and having a bunch of holes in the. And we see just a classic trap block scheme right there. Good enough for the first down.
Dembele had 43 yards against Concordia in the loss earlier this season. It's the 1st and 10 for the Carabins from the 24-yard line. Senecal's got 3 to his left. High snap. Dembele to the right side, and he is brought down by the second-level defense of the Mustangs, led by Max Nixon, who had 31 tackles during the regular season and 2 TFLs.
A little bit of a bobble, and that's not the first time we've seen that. That's the second high snap there that we've seen with University of Montreal, so something they do have to keep cognizant of. And for them, noise isn't even a factor here.
Yeah, Western only giving up 4.5 yards per carry on their defense during the playoff run. 2nd and 5 for the Carabins. Here's Senecal, has time, over the middle, crosser, that's caught in stride to the 10-5. Jones brought down by Nixon again. And now the Carabins are in the neck of the woods of the red zone for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, we just see a little bit of motion there, and over and under routes the crossers, creating a bit of confusion and some picks, just natural picks there on the second level of Western's defense.
And Montreal went 31-32 during the regular season in the red zone, which was #1 in the nation. And now a chance to get the first points of the afternoon. 0-0, 5:53 left in this first quarter play. Dembele to the right of Senecal, and now 4 down linemen for the Mustangs. Senecal looking towards the left, over the middle, touchdown, let go. And they're off and running with a 6-0 lead.
Wide open in the end zone. There was definitely a breakdown in the defense there. Legault pulling it in, uncontested on that skinny post route.
And Senecal looking like a flamboyant player, finding his central figure receiver and Legault over the middle.
Yeah, a little bit of a wide snap there. Once again, not a factor. It was a quick hitting pass. And Montreal with the early lead.
They're up 6-0, and Philippe Boyer on for the extra point attempt. He went 30 or 30, and 7-0 for the Carabins. 5:42 left here in this first quarter play. Montreal up 7-0 over Western Mustangs. You're watching the U Sports on CBC.
My greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the 2023 Uteck Bowl. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan on this Saturday afternoon. A tigerish drive for the Carabins to get their first 7 points. Now the ball goes back into the court of the Western Mustangs. Do we see them going a little bit different on this series for them? Because the first couple of drives, they went with the pass and had a little bit of the run attack as well with Thompson and Dolby.
Yeah, I think that they could really open it up with the run game. It's early on, and Greg Marshall is probably fairly relaxed. I think that 1-2 punch attack from the run game can open up the pass game for them. And they've had success throughout the whole season, throughout the whole playoffs, and fairly early on in those few runs that they've already maintained.
You talk about Western this year, 520 yards per game on offense, which is #1 in the nation here. And so far they've hit a big flat in the first couple of drives. We'll see if they have a smooth drive now coming up with them chasing this game down by 7. With him to go, he is the safety valve for Jonathan Senecal when it comes to those big plays, and they came up on a box office ending. Now the kickoff is there, center field, returnable from the 12-yard line. And it's Magne Jones brought down at the 15. And you talk about special teams, Andrew. This could be a big factor with the wins. Could be a factor going towards the later part of this afternoon.
Yeah, Montreal, they're used to this field. There are some funky winds. It looked like the ball got caught up a bit, and it was a high kick, allowing the kick team to cover, and really no room to breathe for Magne Jones.
And now is the Western Mustangs back on offense. A bit static in the first couple of drives. We'll see what they can do and hoping to browse through this front seven and this back four of the Carabins. From the 16-yard line, they got 3 to the near left of Hillick. Here's a pass play near side. And that is caught for a first down. Seth Robertson, who had 31 catches during the regular season, nearly 600 yards receiving. He's a guy that is a centerpiece to this whole passing attack for this Mustangs aerial move.
Yeah, Robertson, we said at the top of the broadcast, is going to be a difference maker, and really that number 1 or 2 target for the Western Mustangs.
First and 10, south of 5. 4 times, he had 96 yards or more in a football game. Play action. Hillick has time, plenty of time, and that is incomplete. Mawson Jamal the second, the intended target. He had 700 yards receiving on 44 catches. A blowout year for him after his first campaign, but him having a good season for the Mustangs.
Yeah, an extremely electrifying season for him, but we see a lot of pressure put on by this University of Montreal defense on the edges.
And Jamal the second had 8 for 177 against McMaster and a touchdown, so he can definitely blow it up. Hillick, second and 10. Near side, that's caught by Robertson, and they're starting to see they're finding pockets of space now with Robertson on those hook plays.
Yeah, and Montreal playing what appeared to be 7 on the line in all stand-up, showing all sorts of different looks. The one issue with that is you see you're just dropping to a landmark from the line, and you're not really able to gauge the area of the field where the receiver's at.
Another play action for Hillick, going deep center field. Incomplete, as that had too much depth on that pass intended for Magne Jones, who had 5 touchdowns during the regular season, and that went a little too far for his liking.
Magne Jones has been a favorite target deep in the middle. Those post routes, those dig routes, anything over the top, but a little bit too much air under the ball there.
Second and 10, 4:04 left in this first quarter play. Hillick has an overload to the left. Pressure looking for the screen, he's got it. Thompson to the 45, to the logo, and he will be short, if not 3 yards away from that first down marker, and it'll be a third down coming up for Western with 3:48 left in this first quarter.
Thompson, in his 6th year of school, obviously able to utilize this extra year due to the COVID year. He's a Quebec native, went to Kent Prep School in Connecticut, a backup for the majority of his career until a number of injuries.
6 Quebecers on this Western Mustangs team, and they will punt this ball away. A.J. Williamson coming on. Again, had his first kick of 51 yards. Again, the wind might be a factor with them kicking towards the open end of the field. And that's high into the sky, far side. Shabbat towards the 25, and he will toe tap out of bounds, forced out. Penalty as well, and there's a couple of flags in the play. So they might be adding yards to the U of M total here with 3:20 left in this first quarter.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a late hit call or some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, if you want to stop her. Well, we're through a lot of time here in this first quarter. 7-0 lead for Montreal over Western. Andrew Bartlett, Mocon. Here's the call from Stéphane Roy.
2 infractions sur le jeu. Non-respect d'humilité. Western, pénalité de 15 verges. Rudesse. Western, pénalité de 15 verges. Premier essai, Montréal.
So this benefits Montreal. Stay tuned here. Montreal up 7-0 over Western. You're watching the U Sports on CBC Sports.
Was that 2 30-yard penalties?
No, it was...
It was my greatest thrill, but we just stood still. Let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the 2023 Uteck Bowl. Don't forget, next Saturday is the Canada Life Vanier Cup. Head on by to CBCSports.ca and get your tickets. Scan the QR code to get your tickets for the Vanier Cup in lovely Kingston, Ontario, which is about a 3-hour drive from Montreal. And one of these teams will be booking their tickets to Kingston for next Saturday's date with either UBC or St. FX, Andrew.
Yeah, Richardson Stadium, after the renovations they've made a few years ago, is a beautiful venue. It'll be exciting. And like we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the winner of this game is the favorite going into that Vanier Cup. Not to take away from the Mitchell Bowl later today, we do have the number 1 and 2 ranked teams throughout the season so far.
Well, so far for the Carabins right now, they have found their flow, their fluency on the football field. On that last drive, Jonathan Senecal, beautiful touchdown pass to William Legault. We'll see what they do now on this drive. 3:20 left in this first quarter. Plays 7-0 lead for the Carabins over the Mustangs from their own 54-yard line. Chabot is on the near side right, and there's early movement from the left side of the Carabins offensive line, and Diouf might be the culprit on that play.
So back-to-back penalties.
Montreal, pénalité de 5 verges, 5-yard penalty. Reprise premier essai, replay, first down.
It's going to be a 1st and 15 here for University of Montreal. Decent field position for them.
You talk about well-disciplined teams. Montreal was top 10, only had 59 penalties during the regular season. A far cry from where they were a couple years ago when they were on the bottom of the rung for penalties, but Western themselves top 15 as well.
Yeah, there's been a changing of the guards in University of Montreal, previously one of the most heavily penalized teams in U Sports.
Senecal rolling out, he's going to take off, and he will slide like a baseball player. He got a couple yards on that play. Riley McLeod in on the tackle. And you talk about the backbone of Western. Jackson Finley, Riley McLeod. Those are the two guys along the spine that is the heartbeat of this Western defense.
Yeah, Riley McLeod, they mentioned it in the Yates Cup broadcast, but wearing number 33, very reminiscent of John Surla, to give a throwback name. Jackson Finley, when I was speaking to Adam Grandy, the linebackers coach there at Western, saying that is their top defensive player, but not to be outdone by Riley McLeod in the middle there.
Well, Western's lone loss in the Uteck was to Laval with Surla in the lineup back in 2010. Senecal has plenty of time. Surveying, looking, waiting, throwing down the sideline. Incomplete. And that was intended for Simon Riopel, who had 18 catches during the regular season. And for Senecal, that was a peach of a throw, but could not come down with a conclusion with Riopel on this highlight.
We see Senecal scrambling. Not a lot of pressure. University of Montreal doing a really good job. And Riopel with a gift. It looked like it was almost a scramble drill there where it wasn't designed after his break and just looking to make a play. Heads up play by both him and Senecal.
Boyer in, 55-yard punt the first time. Here's a second go around, and this will go towards center field. Take a one-hop in favor of Western, still alive. Returnable towards the 25, and there's a flag on the play as well with 1:42 left in this first quarter play. 7-0 lead for the Carabins. So, Andrew, we go back to the Western side now. It is their time to shine, perhaps. They've had...
Yeah, it's a no yards penalty. Only 5 yards because it did hit the ground. It will be 15 yards if you have a no yards penalty before the ball hits the ground. So as you were saying, Mo?
We've not seen the poise and elegance yet from this Western offense. A couple of completions to their guy in Robertson, but could this be the moment now where they open it up with their playbook?
I think they need to go high percentage, just get the momentum going, pass it out to the flats, maybe some hitch screens.
And here's a run. Beautiful run for Dolby as he got rocked by the secondary. And, of course, Missang in on the tackle for the Carabins. But that is the one thing that Greg Marshall mentioned to us and to those this week. He wants to get that ground game established to open up the passing game.
Yeah, and the better you do at the ground game here, the more it is going to keep the defense true. We just see a few UTM players able to squeak through just those straight-up power blocks.
1:05 left in this first quarter. To the far side, that is caught by Jamal II. And he will be enough for a first down. And during the regular season, they had 213 first downs. They had 28 first downs in the win over Laurier. And remember, Hillick got hurt in the second quarter.
Yep.
Jerome Rancourt came in, the Quebec native, and really helped them move that football with the ground attack.
And just going for the sticks right there. Enough for the first down by a couple inches.
First and 10, 35 seconds left. Play action for Hillick, has time. Short side, picked off. And down the far sideline they go, picked off by number 31 for the Carabins. And Bruno Lagacé, his first INT of the game, and comes at a crucial moment late in this first quarter play.
So we saw Hillick looking to go out to that same flats area and did not see Lagacé in his peripheral, well, really in his passing lane. Came out of nowhere from that halfback spot. And that is the fifth-year DB from Boucherville out of Collège André Grasset.
And Grasset lost in the CJUP finals yesterday to Limoilou, but you look at that play by Lagacé, that looked like what former Carabin DB did last week for the Alouettes in the win over the Argonauts and Marc-Antoine Desquois. Play action now for Senecal going to the near side. Incomplete, a big hit. Laying the autograph was Saunders, and slow to get up is number 2 for the Carabins and Brandon Grosjean, who's still on his back, but he took a severe autograph from Saunders on that play. And here's the pick right here, the play action, right, I beg your pardon, to Saunders, and that was a clean hit, shoulder to shoulder from our viewpoints.
Yeah, definitely clean, and there's no flags on the play, so I don't think that's a question. However, we do hear some University of Montreal fans booing.
A pantomime reaction from the Carabin fan base. 2 seconds left in this first quarter. And you talk about tone setter. This secondary for the Western Mustangs, they've had a lot of injuries, but they've had the right mix now, and they want to set the tone here, and Saunders did so on that shoulder-to-shoulder hit on the Carabin receiver in Grosjean. So.
Yeah, it's a pretty hard nosed for a DB right there. That kind of hit. Never want to see a player go down, but that's the thing that's going to make a difference in the momentum when you're already a little bit on your heels like this Western Mustangs team in this first quarter. We see Hillick there.
So what's going through his mind right now? 2 INTs in the first quarter. This is a man who only had 4 during the regular season. A big point, he only had a few during the regular season. And now 2 in the first quarter. That's unheard of for him in this Western offense.
Just got to stay poised. Got to relax. Get back to the like I said, the high percentage plays. And those are going to be the hitch screens out to the flats. And honestly, I think that they really need to mix it up with that running attack. I think we need to see a little bit more Troy Thompson. We haven't seen a whole lot of him in the last few drives.
Yeah, Hillick during the regular season had 4 games of 300 yards or more. He went 10 of 19 for 173 in the Yates win over Laurier. And that was a bone-crunching hit by Saunders.
And a bit of a sandwich there, too.
And Grosjean giving a couple of words towards the Western bench. And with 2 seconds left, it's 2nd and 10 for the Carabins. Marco Adiluca. That family name well respected in the Montreal football community, looking to win a Uteck Bowl. They lost to Saskatchewan in 2021. Swing pass right, Chabot to the 35, 30. Chabot near side towards the sideline, out of bounds. And he's brought down by the second-level defense of the Mustangs by number 47 and Jay Buchanan. And that is it for the first quarter play here from the Sepsum. The Carabins up 7-0, courtesy of a Legault touchdown. You're watching the U Sports on CBC Sports.
It was my greatest thrill, but we just stood still. Let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the 2023 Uteck Bowl. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Con, 7th lead for the Carabins. They are rolling and going right now. A bit of a disjointed first quarter for the Western Mustangs. 2 INTs in that first quarter. The Butterflies must be out of their stomachs now here, Andrew, for the Western Mustangs. How big is this drive for them on defense to get a stop, if not keep it at a minimal gain for the Carabins scoreboard?
Yeah, it's going to be a huge momentum boost if they can stop University of Montreal from marching down and getting any points. If they can even hold Montreal to, say, a field goal, that is a bit of a win. But Western needs to get the ball back. I don't think that they want to go down 14-0 at the start of the second.
No, they don't want to, especially at a fortress like the Sepsum, which has been home for many highlights for the Carabins, as you see from this play from Senecal, as he found Chabot on the swing pass on the right side of this passing attack. Look at that arm angle for him. He has that
sidearm,
whippy arm going on there.
Yeah, Chabot also very slippery and probably the most agile receiver slot on this team here for University of Montreal. Senecal 6 for 9 for 65 yards in the first quarter.
And Senecal has time, plenty of time. Going to his left, pointing. He will take off to the 20, 15, out of bounds at the 13-yard line. And that is what he called the great improvisation by Jonathan Senecal with his, not only his arm, but his legs to get that going in positive view for the Carabins.
Yeah, Jonathan Senecal able to make a split-time decision and really effective on his feet. Like we mentioned, very Trey Ford-esque, very Kyle Quinlan-esque. If he doesn't see something he likes, he's able to make it.
And he got around Bowers Kane on that play, and it will be a 2nd and 3 for the Carabins. 4-pack to the right of Senecal. Rolling to his right, pressure now coming in from the Western secondary, and that is incomplete, intended for Legault. Buchanan in on the coverage, and that will force what could be a field goal opportunity now for the Carabins. So if you are the Western Mustangs, that is a victory to keep them perhaps at 10 points, if anything.
Yeah, like I mentioned at the start of the quarter here, to keep them to 3 with this field position is a win for the Western Mustangs. Not a crazy amount of pressure on Senecal, but we do see him. He really likes to scramble. He does well in the scramble, and his receivers are able to find space in the holes of the defense.
You talk about the telescopic arms of that Western defense. They have a lot of length to work with. Here's a field goal attempt for the Carabins from the 20. And the kick is up, and the operation is flawless. 10-0 lead for the Carabins over the Western Mustangs. South of 14 left in this first half of play. And now we get the Western Mustangs back on the field. You put away that first quarter. It was a nightmare start for them. But you look at what their stats was. They had 2 penalties for 20 yards. But again, only 29 yards on the ground. And that's where Craig Marshall wants to really have that, his plan A, come to play.
Yeah, Troy Thompson with two runs. Ethan Dolby with 3. Not many yards on the ground. And then we also see a little bit of a breakdown with those 2 interceptions. So not the start that Western wanted offensively. Defense keeping them fairly tight.
Fairly tight indeed. Right now, the Mustangs are in red ink down by 10 points. They will take the ball from the 35-yard line. Hillick handoffs, Thompson to the left side. Surveying, and he will bulldoze his way up ahead. He worked out his legs on Friday, and it pays off on a nice 9.5-yard run, close enough to a first down for the Mustangs.
Yeah, in the first quarter on those 2 runs, he was averaging 8 yards a run, and it looks about 9.5, just short of the first down for the Western Mustangs.
And he got around Ojo, and he got around Fernaccio. We've not mentioned his name yet for the Carabins. And this will be a 2nd and 1 for the Mustangs. They will have Thompson in the backfield. Missouri is a second receiver to the right of the formation. He is a big body receiver, and there is a Rancor in as well, a quarterback, and they will stop him momentarily here with 13:02 left. And Marco Adiluca not happy about something on the football field.
Yeah, he didn't like what he saw out there. It looked like we had a tight end or an H-back there on the line in Western's number 48, Sandro Pierini. And then we also saw a change-up for the personnel for Western's quarterback.
That's right.
Rancourt got about a quarter and a half last week. Not a lot of production while he was in that game, but he is a pretty effective player out there.
Yep, he a local Quebec native who was 2 of 6 for 20 yards against Laurier and Rancourt in at quarterback. He's 6'5", 240 yards, and they say when he runs straight line, he's one of the fastest dudes, is what they say on the Western Mustangs team. And here he is, the mountain man himself, 6'5", and now under center, Rancourt.
Could play D end.
Going up the eye of the storm into the blue swamp, and he will be close. Ball is loose. Whistle was blown. His first down for the Mustangs. St. Cyr, his eyes blew up, thinking that was going to be going the other way for the Carabins.
Yeah, they're gonna call it on the forward progression. So no worry for the Western Mustangs. And the little the tush push, as they're calling it nowadays, that's been a staple of the game in the Canadian game for years, but
You might call it the horsepower push.
There you go.
For the Mustangs. So 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. Clock is rolling, 45-yard line. They're marked off. And Jamal II is occupying the width on the near side right. He's the motion man. Hillick looking for the screen. He'll go to the left side. Dolby has plenty of real estate to the midfield. Plus territory. 45 out at the 40-yard line. And a big play. Missong in on the tackle, but a big play for the Western passing attack as they get the U of M guessing in that play.
Yeah, Dolby was the check down there. We did see some motion to the bottom of the screen to the right of the offensive line. But just a little check down option there that Hillick was able to capitalize on with Dolby.
A misdirection on that play, and they found Dolby wide open on the left side. And a 1st and 10, this is their best position deep in the U of M field. Hillick rolling to his right. He's pressured by Farinaccio. Hillick still looking, and he will take off out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Moashel was in on the coverage to take him out, as they will have a 2nd down coming up here for the Mustangs.
I like to see that by Hillick. He's keeping the defensive line there at University of Montreal true. They can't lose their contain. It's a team that likes to be very dynamic in their looks up front. At times, it will leave gaps in the D-line on what could be a pass or a run down.
Another play action for Hillick. Time to work with. Pressured by Maisonneuve. And he'll throw it over Thompson. Oh, almost picked off by the secondary. St. Cyr was lurking with intent. And a 3rd down coming up here. And Western is thanking the Uteck gods on that being not a turnover for the visitors from London, Ontario.
Yeah, Kalen St. Cyr after the tip drill.
Had plenty of time to work with. And El Shaw came in lurking and then right there.
Just a little bit too high.
Too high indeed. 3rd down coming up for the Mustangs, and they'll punt the ball away. Williamson in. Already 2 punts at 44 yards, 51 longest. That is a pooch kick. Trying to corner that play, and that will go out of bounds. And the Carabins might get better field position than expected. 11:24 left in this first half. Montreal up 10-0 over Western here from the Sepsum. You're watching the 2023 Uteck Bowl on CBC. Montreal up 10-0.
It was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. Let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the Uteck Bowl. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan. It's been a disjointed start for the Western offense here. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C out the window. They're on to Plan D, trying to get their first points of the game, down 10 to the Carabins.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, Western, other than Laurier, hasn't really faced a whole lot of animosity throughout the season, and there's nothing like playing at Sepsum. The crowd noise is unparalleled in Canada. That overhang you see right there, it just reverberates all the sound directly from the crowd onto the field, and you can't really see it from this angle, but the width of the benches, it's about 20 yards wide. It's very hectic on the sideline there. Last week in the Yates Cup, opposing sidelines between Laurier and Western, so they had as wide as they really needed, and very little crowd noise, especially when they're on offense.
There's no question there's a true romance with the Carabin partisans and the visiting teams that come to the Sepsum during the regular season and playoffs, and I'm sure they're making themselves well acquainted. And we're back to live action we go, and the Carabin will bludgeon their way up ahead towards the middle of the Western front seven. With 11:05 left, you're still 10-0 lead for the Carabins over the Mustangs. As Jonathan Senecal, your early thoughts on his game so far after the first INT?
I like the way that he's scrambling. He's making Western really there. That front seven has to respect him, but then the DBs on the back end, with the receivers really playing that scramble drill where they're going in different ways after the break of their route. The DBs really have to then start playing almost a man of sorts rather than their zone.
Another run through the gut, bouncing off Dembele. He's brought down by the front seven. Bowers Kane coming through, and he repelled him back by a couple yards. And this will be a third down, so a big statement for the Western defense to force a 2-and-out.
Western's defense is the difference maker here in this game so far. Big push up front to not allow any breaks in the gaps.
And that will force a punt for the Carabins. And you talk about Philippe Boyer, 2 already for 41-yard average, his longest 55. And there is the man who can bring it back, Kabongo. He's got the eye, and he's lurking to get this Mustangs team better field position. Going back to his 33-yard line, Kabongo surveys. Using his GPS towards the near side. Bates one, brought down by the second, and that will be for a 3-4 yard return. And a couple of pushing and shoving moments there for both teams. And through this game is a 10-0 lead for Montreal over Western. You're watching the 2023 Uteck Bowl on CBC. Montreal up 10 over Western.
Was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Hey, U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Unbelievable! History has repeated itself!
Get the stories behind the glory. Watch, listen, stream, read CBC Sports.
Welcome back here to the 2023 Uteck Bowl from the campus of the University of Montreal Stadium. And don't forget, the Canada Life Vanier Cup is next week, next Saturday, November 25th. Go get your tickets, scan the QR code, or go to usports.ca/tickets. And if you mention Andrew Bartlett's name, you might get yourself a free bobblehead for Andrew Bartlett's at the Vanier Cup. And, you know, there are some highlights for the Vanier Cup. I've experienced a couple of them. I was there for the one McMaster in Laval on the sidelines working that game, which Mac pulled off the massive win over Laval. What's your favorite Vanier Cup moments?
Yeah, I would say for pure entertainment, that one. My father played in the 79 Vanier Cup and won that one. I really enjoyed the University of Montreal versus the
McMaster.
McMaster game that we were talking about offline here at Percival Molson Stadium, sold out crowd.
On the other side of the hill, and here is Hillick, and a handoff towards Dolby. He's gliding, he's sliding towards the 50-yard line, and the biggest run of the day for the Mustangs comes courtesy of Dolby on that play to the left.
Yeah, that Vanier Cup you were referring to with Western and Laval, or sorry, McMaster and Laval. That, what they're calling probably the greatest Vanier Cup of all time.
And for Western, they had their great moment 2 years ago. Play action for Hillick. Has time. Pressure from Maisonneuve. Going deep. Incomplete. And a big hit. Mazzeri got hit. And he was taken out by Guillaume Perrier on that play. And this will be a 2nd and 10 for the Mustangs. And you're seeing now both defenses laying the lumber on the opposition.
And from the DB position, Perrier, only 175 pounds, but able to use his leverage. A wobbled pass, too. And really, looking back at the ball, never a good position to be in for Braden Mazzeri.
Mazzeri had 24 catches during the regular season. He's the big target for this Western team. He's down on the ground, which is the concern for the Mustangs, with 9:14 left here in this first half of play from the 2023 Uteck Bowl from the campus of University of Montreal. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan here. Andrew, now this is a chance here for Greg Marshall to get an unofficial timeout.
Yeah.
To get his team going in the right direction here. Mazzeri's going to be off, at least for now, until he comes back on here. But for Hillick, though, he's found time improvising with his legs, buying time rolling out of the pocket.
I want to see him target Magnay Jones some more. We haven't said that name since early in the first quarter. That's been a difference maker throughout the season.
Well, it's not been perfect signs so far for the Western attack. And they want to start getting their offensive enterprise on the right foot. Hillick, near side. That is caught. Magnay Jones to the 50, 45. And down the sideline he goes, forced out of bounds. And I wonder, Andrew, if I should play the lotto with you predicting that Magnay Jones appearance.
I wouldn't call myself an oracle, but I would say that I've watched my fair share of Greg Marshall games in the past, and the test of time here with Magnay Jones throughout the season, number 5 in receiving yards in the country, only to be outdone by Jamal.
And now
number 4 in the country.
Stopped at the line of scrimmage is Dolby, as he was brought down by Roy, who had the INT in the first quarter. So U of M appears to selling out for the run, with Roy coming in from the 3rd level towards that area.
And what we're looking at there is just a breakdown in the blocking scheme from the double chip. University of Montreal able to just slide in off the edge from the defensive end standpoint.
A loss of 1. Play action, blitz, rocked, fumble. U of M ball.
And yet another turnover by Hillick.
Recovered by Faulkner, and a massive moment here for the Carabins. 10-0 lead with 7:59 left in this first half of play. Greg Marshall not happy on that. And you see from the replay, Hillick had no idea where he came from. I mean, he saw in on that blitz.
Yeah, right from his backside. Didn't have a chance. A little bit of a pump fake. Just stuttered a bit too long there in the pocket.
And you remember last week he took a hit that took him out of the game against Laurier for a bit. We'll see how his health is.
And he was favoring his right side during that time too, and he just got hit to the right.
Senecal near side. That is caught to the 45, and a pirouette right there. And that will get them towards just shy of the 50-yard line. Muganda in on the catch. His first catch of his campaign this year.
Out of Notre-Dame-de-Foix, out in Quebec City, or I guess Foix, if you will.
Let's say Foix home to Laval.
Saint-Foix,
You had a few rodeos up in Laval.
Many of those. It's a good time, but nothing compares to the atmosphere at Sepsum.
And this will be 2nd and 2 for the Carabins, as we are now halfway through the second quarter play. Legault, the motion man to the right of the formation. Senecal, another handoff, left side, and that is going to be by Halafu, who had 22 carries for 132 during the regular season. And we've not seen much of the Carabins running game beyond Senecal. And Western was ready for that run from the front five push from the Carabins.
Yeah, Montreal's had a pretty bare rushing game so far. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see that. They usually have a bit more of a balanced attack.
And with 6:49 left here, 3rd and 2 coming up for the Carabins. Great crowd on hand. Blue skies are popping out. It definitely gets colder as this game progresses towards the 2 o'clock hour into the 3 o'clock hour. It will get a little bit chillier and might be a little bit tight for the hits. A beautiful punt, returnable from the 7-yard line. Making the way through, and this is a fumble recovered by Western. And a flag in the play as well, as young Daniel Kabongo had a little bit of the angst in his hands, and that almost was costly for the Western Mustangs.
Once again, he had to back up a bit, and what we saw there with Kabongo, a little bit too erratic in his movements.
Western, 10-yard penalty.
First down for Western, but as I was saying, a little bit too erratic of the movements there.
You're watching the 2023 Uteck Bowl on CBC. 10th lead for Montreal.
It was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Hey, you sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Unbelievable! History has repeated itself!
Get the stories behind the glory. Watch, listen, stream, read CBC Sports.
Welcome back to the Uteck Bowl. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan. All right, Andrew, Western lacking the cutting edge on offense so far. No end product yet today. They're down 10-0, which is a rare thing for them because this is a team that scored 350 points during their regular season. And right now, they're nowhere near scoring that many points at all.
Yeah, the number one offense in the U Sports throughout this whole season. Being shut out so far, although surprisingly, they have 9 first downs. They're just not making much out of it. There's too many turnovers. I mean, we see, 2 interceptions, a fumble. Montreal's then able to capitalize on all the above.
Yeah, Montias was the one who created that fumble. You talk about this U of M defense. They've been inventive so far, disguising the looks. And we've seen some big hits from both sides. And we'll see now with this Western offense back on the field if they can get a different trajectory with their offense down 10-0, 6:31 left in this first half of play. Another handoff, Thompson. And the Rhino bouncing off to the near side. And he will get a few more yards. The Chateauguay native, which is southwest of the campus of U of M, 25 minutes out, got a big run for the Mustangs to get away from the shadows of their goalpost.
Just keeps on chugging his legs along like a freight train, was able to bounce off the initial hit and made something out of what truly should have been nothing.
Like I say, in on the tackle, 2nd and 3 for the Stangs. Hillick has time. Going, picked off by the Carabins, and that is by Louis-Philippe Gauthier, his first INT of the day and his first of the season, and a massive turnover for the Carabins deep in the Western attack.
3rd interception by a DB on the University of Montreal.
And Hillick, he had time though, Andrew.
He did. There wasn't a whole lot of pressure, so it wasn't on the line or any sort of blitz scheme. It was just an underthrown pass. And really wide open behind the defender was the second-team All-Star, or first-team All-Star Magnay Jones.
22 INTs in the last 11 games. Firing a pass. That's caught by Jones. And he was brought down by Buchanan. And the Carabins have their tails up. They're hunted and hounded for points. And they're sensing there's more points to be had in this drive coming up.
Yeah, and the momentum's really in their favor right now, deep in Western's end. Yet another first down.
And you see Kalen Sincere along with the interceptor and Gauthier conversing about what happened last play. A three-pack to the right of Senecal. Chabot, jet sweep left to the 20. And brought down by McLeod, the linebacker. And we've not mentioned his name yet, or Jackson Finley yet. They are the two big hitters on this defense who have not had that much of an influence with their ability to diagnose these plays from U of M.
No, I mean, and at that point, at the safety position, Finley's not going to be able to do a whole lot. But McLeod scraping across, that's textbook right there. From that second line of defense in the middle linebacker position.
Carl Chabot, a beautiful regular season. Gab Cousineau, former quarterback of the Carabins, you know very well.
I played against Gab Cousineau.
How many sacks do you get against him?
0.
That's good. Incomplete for Chabot over the middle, and a 2nd and 3 with 4:10 left here becomes 3rd and 3 for the Carabins. So again, the Western Mustangs defense holding serve, keeping this to potentially 3 points, which is massive for their confidence going towards the latter part of this first half.
And that's the second time that we've seen Western kind of bail out the offense deep in their own end, which, I mean, these are gimme points. They should be, at least for Boyer.
Yeah, he was 17 of 22 during the regular season, his longest of 46. On the left hash mark, the hole, the kick is up, and the operation is flawless. 13-0 lead for the Carabins. 3:51 left here in this first half for Evan Hillick. The biggest inquiry now for him is his potential right side of the body. He took some shots in that first half. He was hurt against Laurier in the 8s. You have to wonder now, can he go the distance with what he's going through with his injuries that he's sustained?
Yeah, I mean, coming into the game, from what I heard with the Western coaches, is that should not affect him. He obviously took a pretty hard hit that had him sidelined for a little bit there on the right side, but he looks like he's bouncing back fine. And that's J.S. Blanc there, the defensive line coach. J.S. Blanc made a crucial block in the Vanier Cup against McMaster when he was on University of Montreal at Molson Stadium to secure the win for UTM.
Blitz up the middle. Dolby stops. Brought down by Mohamed El Shal, who was player of the week during the regular season. And you look at El Shal, he's listed number 3 on the depth chart, but this is a kid that they think has pro potential, a 3-down player for the Carabins. As you see right here, he came up the B gap.
And just slicing through the Western O-line, really got skinny there, and just a nice rip move.
2nd and 10. Hillick. Dump pass, incomplete, intended for Dolby. And there was nothing to be had downfield, and Hillick starting to feel a little bit frustrated by the options out there. The menu not deep in terms of the passing lanes out there. And for Greg Marshall, it'll be another 2-and-out coming up here for the Mustangs.
Yeah, I think that at this point he's probably getting in his head and just overthinking the small stuff, because that's a gimme for him, that little dump pass.
13-0 lead here. U of M over Western. You're watching the Uteck Bowl on CBC.
It was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Hey, you sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Unbelievable! History has repeated itself!
Get the stories behind the glory. Watch, listen, stream, read CBC Sports.
Welcome back to the Uteck Bowl from the campus of University of Montreal. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan here. All right, Andrew, the sun is shining on the Montreal Carabins defense and is exposing the Western offense so far. And you see from these moments of interceptions for the Carabins.
Yeah, Waugh right there with that interception. This one came out of nowhere from the blitz.
Lagacé.
And just a little overthrown while looking for Magnier Jones. And that was Louis-Philippe Gauthier out of Collège Montmorency in Montreal.
Yes, indeed. And now we look towards this U of M offense. They have found their stride. They have not scored the points yet. We thought this would be an over game for those who are in the gambling world. The over has been definitely the under. But right now, when you look at this moment here for this Western defense, they've held serve, keeping the Carabins to 6 points at that touchdown.
Yeah.
And now the punt from Williamson. And this will go to the far side, one hop towards the 48. Chabot on the return, and he is brought down by the coverage team led by Buchanan, who's been all over the field on teams and on defense for the Mustangs.
Yeah, special teams go-to player. And what we're looking at here is going to be a slow, controlled burn, I think, from the University of Montreal. Eat up as much clock as they can before the half. Keep it pretty simple. They're not going to do anything too complicated.
There is Jonathan Senecal, who is a beautiful piece of machinery for this offense. Has time, looking, pumping. He will get tripped up. He was brought down by Chiendu, and that will be a second out coming up here for the Carabins. And the front four for Western has had a really good game keeping this defense alive.
And that is not Evan Hillock right there.
No, it's not. Danny Touche, the DC of the Carabins. But Evan Hillock, though, is a much better looking man than Danny Touche is.
Depends who you ask.
Well, you never know. But right now, it is 2nd and 9 for the Carabins from their own 54 3/4 line. And that is caught. Riopel to the 45. And his first catch, he had the drop in the first quarter, and they will move those sticks with 2:12 left in this first half.
Yep. Nothing too crazy here. What we're looking at there is just a little button route. And University of Montreal keeping it simple. They want to go with the high percentage. They don't want to have any sort of turnovers. And they know that this Western defense is strong.
High snap for Senecal. From the logo, middle, picked off by Western. Jackson Finley, a Centurion of the back line, coming up big for the Mustangs with 1:50 left in this first half.
Jackson Finley, the top player on their defense as per the Western defensive coaches. 6'3", 201 from Vancouver College in from North Vancouver and studied prior to Western.
Vancouver College is a football factory.
Yeah, Brian Chu.
Former Alouette, former coach of yours at Concordia. Won a great cup with the Ottawa Red Blacks as a coach. But Jackson Finley with a big intervention for the Mustangs defense. Again, this defense has kept the visitors from London in this ball game. 13-0 lead with 1:50 left. Can Hillock get points for the Mustangs? Blitz from the Carabins. Hillock flushed out. Flagging the play, fumble, loose ball, recovered by U of M, pending the penalty.
There was a penalty thrown by the back judge in the backfield of the offense, and it's looking like it is going to be Montreal's ball based on the reaction from their sideline. We'll have to wait and see what the referees say.
If looks could die with Greg Marshall and those sunglasses.
Holding. Western. Cette pénalité est refusée. This penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Typically, when you see a flag back there behind the offense, in a situation like that where there is some scrambling, that is going to be a holding call. Decline the call there was a lot of pressure by this University of Montreal D-line.
And Nick Roy came in on the first wave, and then Jeremiah Ojo, the John Abbott College alum, on the sack. And the recovery by the Carabins. And for the Western Mustangs, they're on plan E now on their offense because this Montreal defense has been coming in robust numbers at times.
I'm not sure what Western really can do at this point. The thing with Greg Marshall, though, and we did see it when they were down at half to Laurier in the Yates, is that they can make some crucial halftime adjustments.
Yeah, the concern now for Western is Keegan O'Neill is down on his back, which is a massive concern because this is a team that is young. They lost 3 players from last year's team, all-world blockers, and O'Neill, the left guard, the 6'4".
Back after some maturing at Concordia, I had about, I want to say, 8 teammates that played a season at
You
Nimi.
weren't one of them, were you? No,
I was not.
You were
no,
a good student.
I couldn't do that to my hair.
No, of course not. But right now, the hair is on fire for the Mustangs because they cannot get anything going on offense, and halftime cannot come any sooner for Greg Marshall to have the team talk and reconfigure and reconsider what he can do going towards the second half.
But prior to this injury, what happened, that was another turnover. We can't forget the turnover. It's Montreal's ball on the 12.
4-pack to the right. Senecal rolling to that direction. Pressure. Backing up. Looking. Over. That's caught towards the 5. Still going. Flagging the play. And that was caught by Giroir Langlois, Nathan. Giroir Langlois, who had 32 carries during the regular season. His second catch of his season in the playoffs, and regular season included. And now there's a conversation with the referees, a congregation of 4.
Yeah.
And this penalty could be massive for either Western or Montreal.
Right at the end of the play. I mean, if it's for Montreal, if it's in favor of Montreal, probably not a whole lot. They'll probably decline.
Here's Stéphane Roy with the call.
Rudess, protecteur facial, Western, unnecessary roughness, Western, face mask, automatic, premier essai, first down.
1:32 left. And it's now in the neck of the woods of the red zone for the Carabins. They did score in the red zone in the first quarter, courtesy of Legault. And now a chance to go up, perhaps by 3 scores against the Western Mustangs.
I mean, both teams have their heavy package in. I don't think there's any question what.
Senecal
on the edge.
Eyeball to eyeball. Chabot underneath center. They use this quite a bit. Chabot to the left side. Touchdown, Carabins.
So our camera panning over to Senecal, but not to be distracted by the obvious play. Chabot on the 1-yard rush.
And right now the Carabins have run riot on the Mustangs in this first half of play, up 19-0. And for the Western Mustangs, that could be a backbreaker late in this first half, now down by 3 scores.
Yeah.
That means you got to score at least 3 without reply from the Carabins to get back to parity.
I mean, with 5 turnovers for Hillock, is there a point in which you maybe try out Jerome Rancourt or you make your halftime adjustments? That's the question that I would have. I truly think they're going to keep Hillock in. I think that that's the play that needs to be made.
And a 20-0 lead for that Carabins. 1:28 left here in this first half.
Mo and I were looking at each other. It just seemed like it hooked to the left, but
it was an
optical illusion.
A golf club that was not used properly on an extra point attempt right now. So the sun has really shined on the Carabins in this first half. They had a glitch in the first half with INT, but the glitches have come from Western. And again, Greg Marshall, if looks can die right now, you take off those sunglasses, his eyes must be beating red.
Yeah, the trademarked Greg Marshall grimace, as I like to call it, and not just because Western's purple. Not a happy camper right now. He did say that this is one of the most special group of guys that he has ever coached in his historied tenure in coaching, whether it be his McMaster times, his Tiger Cats times, his many, many years playing and coaching at Western. So I think he has a lot of faith in this squad.
And they'll need that faith right now to get some points if they can do so. Down 20-0 in this first half. A one-hop over into the end zone. Kabongo is about 5 yards deep. He will give up the extra point. And they recoup the lost point on that. And Hillick comes back out there. And again, the winds might have played a factor. The sun going into the eyes of Western as well.
Yeah, when you're at the top of the mountain there in Montreal, the sun can play a factor. It's at this hour of the day after daylight savings time, it's right in your eyes.
It's usually when I get up at this time on a Saturday afternoon. And right now, Western's been stuck in park with their offense. Montreal up 21-0 with 1:23 left. Hillick hoping to get the engine revving in the right area. It's a fine piece of machinery, this Western offense, but right now they've been no gas. Thompson with the gas pedal to the 40. And St. Cyr in on the tackle. He got a couple of more yards on that play. And it'll be second and short coming up for the Mustangs.
There was actually Dolby there.
Oh, Dolby, I beg your pardon.
Great run. Just don't want to run the clock down too much with these run plays. Second and 1, Shirley's going to be another run for the squad.
And Rancourt is in for that
going
play.
To be in.
So Jerome Rancourt, the Quebec City native, had 17 carries for 114 during the regular season, had 4 touchdowns. And this is a dreadnought of a man out there. Rancourt, fumble, loose ball. Delight for the Carabins, despair for the Mustangs. And now it could be damage limitations in the scoreline for the Western Mustangs.
6 turnovers in less than a half on this Western Mustangs offense. It looked like a good snap. It honestly looked like his hands were a little bit veered to the left and he was thinking about running before he actually was able to receive the snap. You rarely ever see that under center, but that's the thing. These players are almost never under center. You rarely practice that.
Yeah, the center quarterback exchange needs practice. And now for the Carabins, they have a chance to pull a kill shot in this first half. Near side, Jones out of bounds. And this will be second down coming up for the Carabins.
Western playing a 3-front there. That's the first time that we've seen that in the game so far.
So what does that mean, playing the 3-front for the Mustangs?
I mean, you're going to have a little bit less of a pass rush. They know that they're going to be going for passes to keep the clock in check, at least at that 1st and 10. 2nd and 2, they'll probably go with a 4-front here.
9 Ts in the last 3 playoff games for the Carabins. Senecal looking, pressure near side. Firing in a pass. That is caught for a first down. And that will move the sticks. Jones again, and he was taken down by Cameron Cogler on that play.
And Montreal, they've been stopped twice by Western in this field position and having to opt for the 3 points. We'll see if Western can keep that up for a 3rd time.
42 ticks left in this first half. Clock is rolling. The Carabins are going. 3-pack to the right of Senecal. Deflected, back to Senecal. He gets around 1. Will he throw it again? He does, but that should be a situation of illegal forward pass because you cannot throw it twice on a play.
That is what the call is going to be. I think he was just making an athletic play. I don't even think that that's something that would have crossed his mind. You rarely ever think of that.
Yeah. And if you remember the 2005 Grey Cup in Vancouver, Anthony Calvillo did that against the Edmonton, what was then the Eskimos, now the Elks, in overtime.
Right. That is throwback.
And
so even after the block, if it doesn't hit the ground, that is still an illegal forward pass. He could lateral it. He could throw a hitch screen or something, but
the options were very limited on that menu for him. Not the pinging pass that he looked for. And now 2nd and 10. Could the Mustangs hold this to at minimum? So 1st down repeats for the Western Mustangs. And could the Mustangs come away with giving up no points, at least break even with 3. If not, they give up 7. We'll find out now for this next drive coming up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Western's been able to pull that off twice now in this same field position against this high-powered Montreal offense. Majority of Montreal's production has come off of these turnovers, so it hasn't been purely all offense.
Motion by Legault to the right of the formation. Senecal's got time. Over the middle, incomplete and a big hit. And there will be a flag as Max Nixon laid the lumber. It appeared he got shoulder on shoulder, but they saw otherwise, referees, and Nixon's a little bit perplexed on that call.
On the field level, they definitely saw something different than we saw up here.
Let's see from the replay. Perhaps it was because the ball was past Simon Riopel on that play, and it was a defenseless receiver, but it was a clean hit from Nixon to Riopel on that play.
Yeah, maybe the refs are looking at it as a defenseless receiver. He didn't lead with the head. He was playing it fairly safe, although it did lead to an injury.
Western, first down, premier essai, Montreal.
So it's going to be a first down for Montreal, as you heard from the referee.
Yeah, Nixon had 9 tackles in the 8s, had a pick 6 against McMaster during the regular season. And that could be a devastating situation for the Mustangs to give up those yards. But the concern now is Riopel, who took a severe hit from Nixon in terms of the contact. And now the concern is his health with 20 seconds left in this first half. And he's been looked at right now by the training staff of the Carabins. And for the passing radar of Jonathan Senecal so far, he's been pretty good. He's had some yips, some of the throws. And for the Western Mustangs, their radar has been very good, picking off Senecal a couple times in this first half. And they are going to hope to get one more before we get to the team talk break.
Yeah, they're going to get some more points on the board, undoubtedly. This is bread and butter field goal territory for Université de Montréal. It's just to see in this next play if Western can hold them off from scoring a major. The defensive back unit on the Western Mustangs really keeping them in the game, if that's what you want to call it at this point.
Yeah, right now the concern is Simon Riopel has Marc Duluca has taken off his headset, making his way towards the injured Carabin player on the field.
It's a 30-year receiver out of Gatineau, who played at Cégep Ludway.
The Griffins making a run in Division II Cégep this year.
Yep.
And Riopel, thankfully, is in good spirits right there, and a chance now for the Carabins to get some more points or to add a little bit more gloss of their lead of 20. Ball is at the 18-yard line of the Western side of the football field. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan on the call for the 2023 Uteck Bowl. Dudley Jones occupying the width on the far right. Senecal swing pass right. Up ahead to the far side. Halufu is brought down at the knees as he was taken down by Panabaker on that play.
14 seconds left, and the kicking unit is not out.
So timeout call by the Carabins with 14 ticks left here. And they will go over their course of action and what they want to do here, Andrew. So right now, if you are Greg Marshall, that team talk definitely changes by the second as we speak. What can he do to get this team back on the right track to get themselves in this game with their first points and then go from there?
I think they need to have a little bit more confusion on the offense, a little bit more motion in the backfield with the receivers. We saw some success with a little bit of a jet sweep motion and looks. The big thing there is the D-line needs to pressure, because the DBs really are keeping the Western Mustangs in the game here. The D-line hasn't really as much of the scrambling as we've seen from Senecal. There hasn't been a whole lot of pressure up front.
You saw the DC, Paul Gleason, calling the shots for the Mustangs defense. They've had the panache to come up with an INT. Can they do so now on this 2nd and 7? Senecal, 3-step drop. Time going to his right. Looking, he will take off and he will go out of bounds over the inflatable padding as he ends up on the other side of the field and slow to get up. And it is a bit muddy on that side for those who've never been to Mount Royal of Montreal.
Yeah, it's a really tight area between the field and the opposite side stands, and extremely tight on the sidelines for the players and coaches. Not only are they tight about 20 yards wide, there's an overhang above their heads.
A little mosh pit action by Senecal, like a Nirvana concert over there. And Senecal, you see from the highlight, just took what was given to him, and then he ended up into the mudslide. And
Not the safest situation.
It looks safe, but it isn't sometimes. So Philippe Boyer on for the field goal attempt for the Carabins. He's had a good start today on the right hash mark, so this might be a little bit trickier as you get closer, as you know very well, Andrew. The kick is up, and good. So a 24-0 lead for the Carabins. 4 seconds left in this first half. And this first course of your U Sports Feast has been all Carabins on this Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, a lot of that really coming off of the momentum shifts and the capitalization after 6 offensive turnovers by the Western Mustangs. Montreal not really reinventing the wheel here.
No, not really, but they have the wheels in motion.
The wheels are in motion, and they just haven't stopped.
So a concern now is Senecal, because he was looking at his right ankle, and Western will take the knee.
It was an awkward jump over that barrier.
It definitely was. Right now, Western is a team in crisis at halftime, and the Carabins are a team smelling like roses. After 30 minutes of play, the Carabins are up 24-0, and now are 30 minutes away from punching their ticket to Kingston for the Canada Life Uteck Vanier Cup. Stay tuned here from the Uteck Bowl.
U Sports on CBC. The road to the Canada Life Vanier Cup is brought to you in part by the Government of Canada, funding partner of U Sports. Nike, just do it. Wilson, the official football of U Sports. Fox 40, celebrating more than a decade of the Fox 40 U Sports Coach of the Year program. Veriburn, medical supply partner of Varsity Athletics since 1979. Barron, exclusive supplier of U Sports Championship rings. And by Canada Life, proud title partner of the 2023 Canada Life Vanier Cup, Saturday, November 25th at Queen's University in Kingston.
Peu importe à quoi ressemble votre vie, vous pouvez compter sur nous. Pour la vie comme vous la vivez. Assurance, placement, conseil. Canada Vie.
They don't do it for the likes or for the shares. They do it for the fun of it, for the thrill, the camaraderie, for the memories. CBC Sports, just because they love it.
my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Hey, you sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
The 2023 U Sports Fall Championships wrap up next week, and it's safe to say the UBC Thunderbirds have dominated. The Canada West School will end off the fall season winning at least 3 U Sports national titles and have the chance to claim a 4th today. UBC hosts the St. FX X-Men at Thunderbird Stadium at 3 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned for a preview of the matchup coming up after the break.
My greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
For the first time in 8 years, the UBC Thunderbirds will play in a national semifinal. Today, they host the 2023 Mitchell Bowl and face an undefeated AUS St. FX team. Here's Mark Lee and Deshaun Stevens with more on what to expect in the game.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, UBC returns to the national semifinals and a bowl game for the first time in 8 years. Ironically, for the first time since they beat St. FX in the semifinals in 2015 en route to winning the Vanier Cup. But Deshaun, this year, the Thunderbirds have had a tough run, having to come from behind twice in the Can West playoffs to get here.
Yeah, and last week in the Hardy Cup, they actually committed 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter, and it's very rare that you'll ever see a team win a football game after committing that many turnovers, but behind a fantastic final 50 seconds, which featured a game-winning 95-yard drive. The Thunderbirds are back on the national stage for the first time since 2015.
St. FX, on the other hand, is back for the 3rd year in a row, and after being unbeaten in the AUS for 3 consecutive seasons, their challenge has been to win in a bowl game, and they're trying to do that no less in the middle of the mother of all road trips, 4 time zones and 5,000 kilometers from home.
Yeah, in the history of U Sports football, no AUS team has ever won a bowl game which required them to travel to the West, and now St. FX is being tasked with having to travel 4 different time zones to compete in the Mitchell Bowl. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. No AUS team has won a Vanier Cup since 2002. In fact, no AUS team has been to a Vanier Cup since 2007. Can St. FX be the first AUS team to advance to a national championship game in 17 years?
That's the challenge today, a cross-country road trip to UBC, where the Thunderbirds have been at home for 3 weeks in a row.
Was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
We are halfway through the Uteck Bowl between Western and Montreal. Mo Khan and Andrew Bartlett have the highlights. Mo?
Thank you so much, Sarah, for that introduction. Look at these highlights here, and there was a plethora of highlights to look at here, Andrew. Starting off with the Carabins, who opened up the game with an INT. That kind of set the tone, and as you see from this pick right here by Nicolas Roy.
Nicolas Roy reading Hillock like a book.
And then the Legault touchdown opened up the scoring.
Legault was able to get behind the defense, just a break in the zone there.
It wasn't over yet for the INT department for the Carabins.
I loved this one. Right in the passing lane, off the blitz for Lagacé.
Back to worse than the fumble by the Mustangs.
Blistering hit on the backside too.
And then the INT, once again, a hat trick in the first half of the Carabin defense.
A little bit of a bobble, but able to reel it in on the overthrown pass.
And then, of course, they came back with a massive touchdown on the Shabbat run.
After the turnover, Shabbat and the team able to capitalize. Although Western had held University of Montreal to 2 field goals in similar field position. And that is Shabbat celebrating after the touchdown.
And the Wilson halftime stats here, and they're very pretty for the Carabins and not so great for the Western Mustangs. And the biggest number here is the yards for the Western Mustangs. Not many in that first half compared to the Carabins.
I mean, if you look at it overall, all-purpose yards are not terribly high for either team for the Canadian football and for the score, 24 points. The biggest thing is interceptions, but we also see another stat not there, and that would be the fumbles. 24-0 Montreal at halftime.
Peu importe à quoi ressemble votre vie, vous pouvez compter sur nous. Pour la vie comme vous la vivez. Assurance, placement, conseil. Canada Vie.
They don't do it for the likes or for the shares. They do it for the fun of it, for the thrill, for the camaraderie, for the memories. CBC Sports, just because they love it.
Was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Hey, U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team. U Sports on CBC. The road to the Canada Life Vanier Cup is brought to you in part by the Government of Canada, funding partner of U Sports. Nike, just do it. Wilson, the official football of U Sports. Fox 40, celebrating more than a decade of the Fox 40 U Sports Coach of the Year program. Veriburn, medical supply partner of varsity athletics since 1979. Barron, exclusive supplier of U Sports Championship rings. And by Canada Life, proud title partner of the 2023 Canada Life Vanier Cup, Saturday, November 25th at Queen's University in Kingston.
Welcome back here to the 2023 Uteck Bowl. After 30 minutes of play, 2 rounds of action, a 24-0 lead for the Carabins over the Mustangs. As you know very well, the former Concordia Stinger, the Sepsum is usually a graveyard for visiting teams, but no one would have expected this being a 24-0 lead at half for the home side.
Yeah, this Western offense is the #1 offense in the country, and so far, not only have they not been able to produce anything, they've turned the ball over more than they had pretty much all season.
So now we look towards the second half for this game here. The tail of the tape has been all Carabins. And now you have to wonder, right, the quarterback position of where they are, and you see Jerome Rancourt warming up onto the field, is the starting quarterback, and Evan Hillick. He's taken some shots. Yeah. He's gone through his own injuries throughout the course of this playoff run. Is he healthy enough to play the next half here? Because if he's not, that's a big blow to this Western offense moving forward.
Yeah, coming into the game, I was told by the Western coaches that he was good to go and there was no health concerns whatsoever. We did see him take a big shot that had him sidelined for half the game last week in the Yates Cup, and then also took a shot to the same area today.
So you look at the first half stats. Montreal had 13 first downs against Western that first half. And the Dunsmore Cup final, they only had 12. And it's a massive 180 for them today.
Yeah, and that was a low-scoring game with them and Laval. They've already doubled their score from that game.
Well, doubling the score is what it is. They're up by 3 scores here as we get ready for second half action. And here is young Garrity, who had gone 6 for 6 from the field goal range department against Laurier.
Yep.
He's not been an influence yet, and his kicking game might be the key to get themselves the real estate position in their favor.
Yeah, just to get rid of the goose egg too. But that'll be after Montreal on offense, as Western is kicking off to start off the second half.
And we'll get this second half underway here from the Sepsum. The University de Montréal Carabins, they are up by a score of 24-0 over the Western Mustangs of London, Ontario. And it's been a trip not enjoyed yet by the Mustangs, and that is returned up ahead by Jones. And this is where the Carabins will begin their voyage of the second half. And we talk about their keys here. What is the key for them this second half to keep this lead and to put this game away?
I think that they're going to have to keep the ball, the rushing game high. Less clock stoppages, more time of possession for Montreal, the better. With this cushy of a lead, it's something that they want to maintain and not have encroached upon.
So Senecal back at quarterback. He did take a nick late in the first half. He's got a 4-pack to his right. Caught by Chabot near side, and he is brought down by Jackson Finley, who, coming from the third level, I think he might have more of an influence in this second half to get him more active and more involved with the plays.
Yeah, I mean, Finley has been a difference maker from the defensive side this whole season long, and the team and the coaches really put a lot of faith in him to be a playmaker, coming down from that safety position on that screen really goes to show his effectiveness.
Blitz from the Mustangs. Chabot over the middle. 40 sliding, brought down by Finley. They rolled the dice, and it came up snake eyes for the Carabins on that second down conversion.
Cross behind the linebackers and able to find a little gap in the zone.
And look at that whippy arm of his, right?
Yeah.
Using the angle over there.
Very whippy. Almost like a pitcher of sorts.
I might tear my ACL in my knee by doing that throw with my arm.
Just by watching it.
1st and 10 for the Carabins. Chabot, the motion man on the right. Senecal going to the near side. And there's Chabot again. It's been an intimate football relationship with those two guys on the football field today. They've had the telepathy working very well so far in the passing catch.
I mean, we're looking at 3 for 3 so far in this second half from Senecal to Chabot. Pretty high percentage passes, short, middle, flats. It's nothing too crazy.
It's been smooth, serene, and certain by this Carabin connection of Senecal to Chabot. And a 2nd and 3 for the home side. 3 to the left of Senecal, 3 down linemen, as Andrew made the point before in the first half. They're going more with that than before. Senecal firing a pass, incomplete. Finley in on the coverage. Legault was the target man. And Jackson Finley using his Inspector Gadget arms to repel that ball away.
Can never underestimate the dynamic ability of Finley. Able to get the hand in and just break up the pass in what should be a simple catch for the Carabins, Legault.
And now set to punt the ball away. Philippe Boyer, 48.5 per punt. He's had 4 of them today. And now set to return the ball back. And it'll take a one-hop in favor of the Carabins. And now this will go. It could be a face mask. No call on that. Mazzari was the one on the return, and Kabongo in on the block. And we're early in the third quarter, 24-0 for the Carabins over the Western Mustangs from the 2023 Uteck Bowl on CBC.
My greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the Uteck Bowl from the campus of Université de Montréal. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan, and we talked about the coaches so far. And for Greg Marshall, he cannot stop this runaway train of the Carabin offense and defense.
Yeah, I mean, we did see a nice stop there by Western on defense to start off the second half. So we'll see if he had an inspiring speech at half or if just him and his coordinators made some really valuable adjustments. The first time Western on offense in the second half. In motion for them.
Don't forget, Mitchell Bowl after this game.
Absolutely.
You know,
St. FX traveling to University of British Columbia.
4 times. I don't know how anyone does that. 4 time zones away. For me to travel from Montreal to Toronto is, or anything I do in life, when I go to Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, whatever it is, I get tired.
It's like one of the longest domestic flights in the world.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is. 4 time zones. But right now it's almost 10 time zones. The distance of points for Montreal and Western with 11:58 left in this third quarter. Hillick, handoff. Thompson, the Chateauguay native. And he will twist and turn like a ballet dancer out there. And he will have more than enough of a first down. And again, we talk about the running game for this Mustangs offense. They've gone back to plan A to get that going for them.
I think that they need to give Troy Thompson the ball more.
And there's Rakeem Canal-Charles, the backup quarterback. He could be seeing some action with Jonathan Senecal, who took a nick in the first half. We'll keep an eye on that going towards the next drive.
Yeah.
Hillick has time going deep, far side. And Jamal II was the intended target, and that ball was off the radar of...
Motion Jamal II out of Laurier Secondary School, a local to London, fifth-year player. And he actually led Western in receptions this year.
And that was not a reception right there for
It was not. Mustangs. It was underthrown. I think he was a little surprised.
Could they find the guile in this second half? Hillick has time. Over the middle. And Robertson. Will that be confirmed complete? First down for the Mustangs. The adventure continues for the Mustangs on this drive as Robertson showing the tricks and touches in that play.
Yeah, Robertson is one of the players that we highlighted at the beginning of the game. They're going to hit him, like we saw there, with a dig route high in the middle. Favorite routes to hit him on are the skinny posts, the digs, anything over the top.
Hand off Thompson. And he got himself about 3-4 yards as he was able to smuggle himself through Fernacho in on the tackle with Nseka. And with 10:22 left, we're starting to see a little bit more of a verve from this Mustangs offense.
It's nice to see because Western was looking extremely flat going into the halftime. The second half has been, there's been some production.
Production is the key in life, Andrew, whatever we do in life, my friend. And right now they need some production on this drive. 2nd and 6. Hillick blitz from the near side. Flushed out, sacked. Nicolas Roy in on the sack. And he devoured Hillick for lunch on that play. It's 3rd down. Do you go for it or you punt it away?
Let's see where they end up. Yeah, I think you got to punt it away. To me, at this point in the game, give it another 5 to 10 minutes. 5 minutes, you got to go for it. This point in the game, the half just started, and the momentum is a good place for Western. Yeah.
And Williamson, and that ball was shanked. He used the wrong golf club on his foot, and that goes out of play with 9:33 left. Now the point of contention for the Carabins is who is coming in at quarterback. Jonathan Senecal did take a hit, and you can see the visiting quarterbacks who've played against the Carabin defense have not done well.
Definitely not. I mean, you're looking at Desjardins, 17 for 33, and only 149 for the whole game, 3 INTs.
Anthony Robichaud, not so great, and Evan Hillick, not so great. So Senecal back at quarterback. That's the sigh of relief for the Carabin offense. Play action, deflected at the line of scrimmage. And that was touched by number 47, Jude Buchanan, who used the forensic touch of his fingertips to get that paw in his hand.
Transfer from Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia.
ODU, man, they've pulled some upsets in college football the last couple of years.
They have.
Tech, yeah.
They have.
Felix Antoine, Laval-Rougier, former ODU player. So
is that so?
That is, yes, that is so, my friend. We've done some research for this game here. We prepped ourselves. And right now, the Carabins are trying to prep themselves perhaps for more points with 9:02 left in this third quarter of play. Senecal blitz from the Mustangs, come up from the middle. Screen, Dembele's got oodles of space to work with as he went on the afterburners and got himself a first down as he was brought down by Buchanan again.
This is a player from Côte d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast. He ended up playing his Cégep at Cégep Thetford, who's known for bringing in players from France and Africa.
And Côte d'Ivoire is a soccer nation, my friend.
It is.
A big-time soccer nation out there. And with that, a punt coming up for Boyer. So they were short on the first down, only 8 on the play. And Boyer will get his 6th punt off. Kabongo, 2 returns at 12.5 yards per clip. High into the shadows of the Sepsum. Kabongo tripped up on his own 2 feet. It is new turf there. And with that, a 24-0 lead for the Carabins. What can Western do on their offensive drive? Coming up here from the 2023 Uteck Bowl on CBC.
It was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the Uteck Bowl. Don't forget, after us, it's the 2023 Mitchell Bowl. Mark Lee, Deshaun Stevens, and those are two Adonises. You see how these guys look? They're in better shape than we are, my friend.
Speak for yourself here.
You know, I'm still throwing weights, my friend, but, you know, Deshaun looked like he can throw 225
Absolutely,
20 times,
yeah.
you know?
Former University of Waterloo Warrior. And then Mark Lee, CBC Sports icon. Yeah.
Legend. I'm surprised. I was shocked you knew my name. I thought he was going to ask me to get in the water.
It's because you're CC'd on the emails.
I was on that. But right now, the Western Mustangs trying to get themselves on that email of points, and they have not been able to get anything going forward. It's been rejected quite a bit here. So, Andrew, we look at it now. They got hit the ground running, which they have done a little bit in the second half here. But are they comfortable enough to throw it against this secondary that has pilfered passes from Hillock in that first half that has carried over now?
I don't know. I think that the confidence of Hillock has been shot throughout the game, so we'll see.
Here's Hillock's pass in town, rolling, far sideline. Robertson, he's plan A, he's plan B, and he took a shot from Gauthier, but you can just see how that is a guy who can stabilize a struggling ship of the Western Mustangs in Robertson.
Yeah, he definitely is a game changer, and same with Magnier Jones. He has the ability to make something out of nothing with his speed, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more of him along with this resurgence of Robertson in the second half.
He could be the tonic required to get back some points. Handoff, middle, and Dolby will get to the logo as he's brought down by an auxiliary amount of Carabin players on that logo, and this will be close enough to a first down with 7:40 left in this third quarter.
Tackle by Perrier, number 39 there on the Carabin, along with really a gang tackle. He found the seam in the zone blocks. Dolby that was able to get a nice 8-yard gain.
Could they get more of that? 7:30 left in this third quarter play. And you talk about some of the guys in that Carabin defense. We have not even mentioned Nicky Ferry-Nacho, the middle linebacker, who is the more uber alpha of this front seven, who's been very quiet but not required. Handoff, stopped in the backfield. Bouncing off is Dolby to the plus territory, and he will go out of bounds just shy of the 35-yard line. He was dead to rights in the back end, but he put on the horsepower, repping that logo quite well.
A little bit of misdirection in the backfield, and should have been tackled behind the line of scrimmage, but just lowered the shoulder.
A crucial run for the Mustangs. Could this be their opportunity to get some points back? Thompson, and he is stopped.
The beauty of having that 1-2 punch with Thompson and Dolby is that we saw a little bit more production of Thompson in that first half, right? So you put Dolby back there, UTM might think, oh, they might not be running. Then all of a sudden they do, and they have two big gains with Dolby. Throw it back to Thompson. They're both able to keep their legs, their breath, not get too banged up. I mean, you just don't want it to be too little too late with 6:40 left in this third quarter.
Clock is shrinking by the second against the Western Hopes. Hillock has time, going near side. In swing, and a big hit down the near sideline. Out of bounds is Craig Coleman as he laid an autograph on the Carabin DB as Coleman came from the backfield and got himself a nice catch, a nice cool vein moment for him.
An absolute blistering hit. Coleman after the reception and just left UTM's Maison stunned and shocked.
And now the red zone from the 10. First and goal for the Mustangs. Whistle, flag, play will not count. Magne Jones took a shot from Doyon. Came from the backfield, and this might be reversing course, and the Fitbit might be going back 5 yards away.
Yeah, illegal procedure on Western. Whenever they stop the play and whenever you see the flag behind the quarterback, it's 99% of the time going to be a legal procedure.
Western trying to get the thirst of points now. They are searching. They've been famished. They're held to 0 through 2 quarters and a half. The Carabin fan base voicing their displeasure of noise. Hillick, pressure. Thompson on the one hand. Thompson up in the air. Misson in on the tackle. And he gets tackled inside the 13-yard line. It'll be second goal coming up.
For anyone that's watched some OUA football in the past, his running style is very reminiscent of like a Chris Pizzetta from McMaster, or even Dion Pellerin from University of Waterloo, who ended up with the Argos. Even Declan Cross-esque.
Oh, Declan was a freight train out there.
Yeah.
And the flow, too. His hair was flowing and going, my friend.
It was great.
Second and goal now for the Mustangs. Is this 3-down territory? Blitz from the far side. Hillick deflected. Oh. And almost picked off by El Chalin. Miasson was in on that ball. So miscommunication from the linebackers. And now is this 3-down territory. And it appears Hillick is going to go off for the field goal coming up.
100% in last week's matchup. It was Garrity. So this should be a gimme. Can't make out who actually blocked it on the D-line. Then we saw 2 tips from Ishel almost into Misson's hands.
Is this the right call?
Are they going for it?
The field goal coming up here, perhaps? Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
So Garrity on. He was 9 for 9 in the playoffs. Make it 10 for 10. So U of M give up the first 3 points. Western on the board. 24-3 lead for the Carabins. You're watching the 2023 Uteck Bowl on CBC.
Was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the Uteck Bowl. And right now, a 24-3 lead for the Carabins over the Mustangs. It's been lacking the jeopardy that we thought would be in this game here. And we'll take a look here at Jonathan Senecal, who took a bit of an injury conclusion on this play right here, Andrew.
Yeah, it's just a factor of playing in this really tight field at University of Montreal. They have basically like the bouncy castle style barriers on the side before you're right into Montreal in Montreal. Looking at his ankle after that, we saw it from the backside angle, and he landed awkwardly on his right ankle.
If we get another replay, the initial contact with the bouncy bubble, his right foot went into that. And didn't have the grip on the landing, right? The landing was about 2.6 on that, which was not the case for Desire for the Carabins. But with 4:50 left, your clock is rolling, 24-3 lead. You wonder now if they might go to the ground game to alleviate any stress on that ankle for Jonathan Senecal. Gaujon was the second receiver, third receiver to the right. Here's a handoff, and stopped in the backfield for a very minimal gain. And a massive play right there coming from the front seven. Malcolm Fraser in on the tackle, and he's a big boy with a wide lower base.
First-year player out of Victoria, BC, 6 feet, 293.
Had 2 PDs against McMaster in the regular season. Had a tackle and a half in the 8th Cup. And you can see now they're going to the depth that they have. Now 3 down linemen for the Mustangs, 2nd and 11, so a loss of 1 for the Carabins. Could he get off the field on a 2 and out? Almost picked off. And in there was Jude Buchanan, who had a better read on it than the Gorgeon receiver for the Carabins.
I don't think that was a bad pass. I think Gorgeon, something happened. You see him limping off the field. Senecal is better than that. It was, I think, a little bit of a poor route or some sort of injury by Gorgeon.
It was lacking, but now the good news is for the Mustangs, they will get the ball back. So 2 and out with 3:44 left. Returnable from the far side. Flagging the play. And that is going to go nowhere. Kabongo tried to use the trickery and magic from his legs. So with 3:33 left, if Western do score points here, it's a 2-score game. But you know, Canadian rules football.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. No question.
And the last 3 minutes, last 2 minutes, they actually mean something in Canadian football. It's not like American football, especially the NFL, where it's basically a gimme, couple knees.
So no yards, 15 yards added, so it gets better geography positioning for the Mustangs.
Reason being is that the ball had not hit the turf. If it hit the turf, 5 yards. If there's no yards and the player catches it out of the air, that's 15 yards.
And being helped off the field is Samuel Leduc. And again, we're 1 game away from the Vanier Cup, and whoever wins this game, they don't want to have any injuries. They want to come in fully healthy for the big one next week in Kingston, Ontario, the Canada Life Vanier Cup. And right now in the ascendancy position is the Carabins, up by a score of 24-3 over the Western Mustangs. And they want to tighten another screw against this Western team.
We see an H-back and a tight end. So a bit of a heavier package for Western.
Yeah, the tight end is Pierini. Hillick, near side. Magne Jones with the twist and turn. And he's brought down by Gauthier. And it makes it much easier in 2nd down coming up.
Yeah, so lots of protection here for Hillock with 2 extra blockers in the box. And a really simple hitch play by Magne Jones.
At the logo in the plus territory of the 52. Handoff. Dolby will get enough for a 1st down as he was on an ultrasound right there. And for this Mustangs team, they kept with their plan.
Yep.
They're not airing it out. They're sticking with the ground game. And that could be their passport to get back into this game.
Yeah, they hadn't faced a whole lot of animosity throughout the season. They had a close game against Queens at one point and then fairly close games against Laurier, but they've made some good halftime adjustments.
It's 1st and 10. Another middle run, and Dolby gets about 3 or 4 as he chisels his way through. As he was brought down by the front 4 of the Carabins, led by number 94 and Eamon Cisse. It'll be 2nd down coming up here, and a passing situation. We're talking off air. The health of Hillick, can he make those throws? It feels like he is banged up.
Yeah, he's been hit to his throwing arm side, and if you actually watch him throw, it seems a little gingerly. There's not a whole lot of a zip to it that we're used to seeing.
Flagging the play, multiple flags. Hillick, and that went to the cameraman at the 23-yard line, who had a better chance of catching that ball, as Magne Jones might have been the intended target, but there is 2 flags in the backfield.
Yeah. Not only have the throws not had as much muscle behind them, they've been bobbled.
So a 3rd down coming up for the Mustangs with 1:48 left in this 3rd quarter play, and Hillick is going to stay on the field, so it is no man's land. Do you agree with the call now?
I do at this point in time, and it's only 4 yards. It's not like it's 3rd and 10. and they're at fairly good field position if they do have to take it back on defense.
Could Hillock use the arts and crafts on this 3rd and 4 to get the first down? Dolby is in the backfield, motioning now towards the left, an overload towards that side. Hillock going backside, caught by Jamal II. Mawson Jamal II making a big play on the backside as he was composed on that throw from Hillock.
The leading receiver throughout the game, and that was a really standard just throw to the flats. High percentage. Montreal obviously playing a little bit more kind of like prevent with this timing and this score.
Could Hillock come up with a moment of genius now? Blitz from the middle. Hillock caught again. Jamal II diving short of the first down as Mawson Jamal II back-to-back catches. And now you're starting to see the artillery being used to the full extent by this pass-catching core of the Mustangs.
In the same place, too, and you know what? They're not going 5R here. They've had more players blocking in the box, which I think is giving Hillock a little bit more confidence that he's going to be more well protected.
Hillock, handoff, and going to the first down is Dolby just shy the 15-yard line as they bring him down to 3rd-level defense and a good-looking drive with 28 seconds left in this 3rd quarter play.
Seems like Western's really hitting their stride here.
There's Jeremiah Ojo, who created a strip sack. Danny Touchette, the DC of the Carabins. J.S. LeBlanc to his right. And now from the 15-yard line, Hillock, another run play. Tripped up and brought down is Marcel Phillips, the running back who gets his first carry of the game. So Greg Marshall using his depth of running backs. Of course, this is a position that was decimated by the injuries that they sustained the first 2 ball carriers on their depth chart.
Yeah, they're dealing with what was in the regular season running backs 3, 4, and now 5.
Yeah, Keon Edwards going down, one of the best carriers in the OUA. 2nd and 7. They need 7, not 3s. Another running play, and that is lacking the ingenuity. Phillips brought down by El Shal and his teammates. And at the end of 3, the Vanier Cup is only a quarter away for Montreal to clinch. Could U of M do it? We'll find out here on CBC.
It was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the Uteck Bowl. Andrew Bartlett, Mo Khan on this call on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in lovely Montreal. Here's Hillock in his throwing motion right now from what we see from our viewpoints.
A little bit more sidearm than we're used to seeing, and not as much muscle behind it. Speaking of which, that was a thunderous hit. Yeah, it was a muscle play indeed. Hillock, 14 for 25 in the first 3 quarters of action. For 200 yards, 3 interceptions, and some fumbles to match.
And you can see now the passing yards a little bit higher for the Mustangs because they had more of the time of possession. They have 317 total yards compared to the 225 for the Carabins. But again, it's all about touchdowns. Oh, that's the currency for the Mustangs to get back in this ballgame.
Yeah, penalties haven't really played too much of a factor in this game. Obviously, Western 8 penalties is uncharacteristic and not something they want. But the big difference really here that you can't see is the turnovers.
And that's going to be key for this. And Nicky Farinaccio's off right now, getting looked at. On a 3rd and 7 for the Mustangs. They're going to go into the shadows of the Stadium of the Sepsum. Could they get a first down or get 7? Hillick has time. Surveying. Throwing. Back end zone. And Jamal II thought he was taken down by the secondary, and that will be a turnover, but there is a penalty in the play, so they could get a reprieve. We're not too sure, but right now Hillick going off, which might be against Western.
Yeah. Mohsen Jamal II not happy with the non-call unless that flag was late.
And we'll see now. This. Oh, he got hit by the referee. So the referee was laying the lumber out there.
The 13th man. Oh, they're going to call it on him.
And that will move it back and give the Carabins better field position. So it's not been easy in the eyes for the Western offense. And they come up empty now with 14:36 left. This racetrack starting to run short on the Mustangs' hopes and trying to get back in this matchup.
Yeah, double whammy there, if you will, against Jamal II.
Halafu in the backfield, and the clock is rolling. A 4-pack to the right of Senecal. Could the Mustangs come up with a turnover here on this drive? They will need it ASAP. Senecal still surveying. He's got time to work with. Now motion is Shabbat to the left of the formation. Pumping, rolling. Will he take off? He will. 30, and he will slide towards the 35, marked off at the 34, and he stays inbounds, which keeps the clock rolling.
Yeah, so clock management is the biggest thing on the mind of University of Montreal right now. We saw Senecal going all the way down to 1 second on the play clock to burn as much time on the game clock as possible. There was some late motioning. Didn't like what he saw and was able to then slide while inbounds, so the clock would run once it's whistled in.
And it appears Legault, we will confirm that number. It is Legault, 86, who's getting looked at. A very composed Jonathan Senecal in the second half.
Yeah.
And you're right, now it's clock management, right? You want to score points. That is the object of any game we play in life. But to kill off that clock and squeeze the life for Western to have any chance to get back in this ball game, I think Marc Auduluca wouldn't mind taking off 3-4 minutes if he can.
This buying both coaches some time, but I don't think that either are going to veer off of their second half game plan. Western with a sole field goal in the game after having the #1 offense all season long. And as we saw in the first few plays here from Montreal on this drive, they're just going to try to run the clock down, like you said.
Well, they would like to be clinical now on this drive. We're south of 14 in this fourth quarter play. Senecal in the pistol formation. The referee holding up play for the moment. Now he will make his way out of the storm of bodies. 13:55 left in this game. Halafu now moving towards the right. Could Western dial up the defense now for a blitz?
This is just painful when you're on defense, too.
Handoff, Halafu to the left side. Trying to grind his way up ahead. He's brought down by McLeod. The middle linebacker getting in his hand on Halafu, the running back. And the clock will still shrink in favor of the Carabins.
Glody Halafu, the third-year player from Cégep Jonquière. Another international player from the Congo in Africa. Was able to get a few more yards after initial contact, forcing Western to gang tackle him. We see Adam Grandy there.
And now we are approaching 13 left, 2nd and 5. Money play for the Carabins. Senecal has time. Flushed out to the left. Looking, throwing, in stride, down the near sideline. First down and more at the 40-yard line. And that is caught by number 32 and Nathan Girard-Langlois on the play.
Girard-Langlois with his first reception of the game, coming out of that split end H-back position on the left-hand side of your screen. Scramble drill And that was not a designed release until Senecal goes out of the pocket.
Oh, for Senecal, it's his own language and style, and he was able to communicate well on that play. And a first down at the 41-yard line of the Mustangs end of the field. Senecal firing one. And that's caught at the 35-yard line by Chabot, and it becomes second and easier now for this Carabin offense.
Chabot with yet another reception. Coming back into the game for a bit of a heavier package is Girard Langlois again. 2nd and 4. Undoubtedly, I would assume probably a running play for this University of Montreal team with the substitutions that they've made.
Well, the Carabins have been asking questions, and there's been no answers yet from the Mustangs on this drive. Could they tighten another screw against this Mustangs team? Senecal looking towards the far side. Short end and incomplete. And intended for Girard Langlois as he was hammered by a plethora of Mustangs led by Max Nixon.
Yeah, it's a big boy. Very similar to that of Thompson. Langlois, 6 feet, 246 pounds at the running back position. More of a true H-back where you can play that tight end, fullback style.
That's a lot of girth.
That's a big boy. And not short for that position either.
No, none indeed. So for Boyer, it's his field goal attempt. His longest this year was from 46. And could he add a little bit more of an insurance policy for the Carabin lead? The hold. The snap, the kick is up. Nothing but nets. 27-3 lead for the Carabins. Montreal on their way here in the Uteck Bowl, up by a score of 27-3 on CBC.
It was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
We're a week away from the Canada Life Vanier Cup in Kingston, Ontario, and we are getting closer and closer to finding out who the first participant will be, either the Carabins or Mustangs, and we'll find out in the Mitchell Bowl. And there's Blake Neal, the head coach for UBC, and Andrew, he's had success against perhaps the Carabins if they do advance to the Canada Life Vanier Cup.
Yeah, 2015, the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds under the helm of Blake Neal, in his first year there, were able to defeat the University of Montreal Carabins, and that was after a tenured career at University of Calgary, where he made it to the Vanier numerous times. The last time an AUS team was in the Vanier was a team that he helped produce. He was no longer with St. Mary's, but the last time an AUS team actually won the Vanier Cup was under Blake Neal, when that was St. Mary's.
And right now, for the Mustangs, and here's a highlight from the Carabins and Senecal making this throw, and you can see the ingenuity and his ability. And you can see maybe his right ankle much better than before, but it might be sore come tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's hard to say if he even got anything like a who knows, a shot or an extra tape during the halftime.
Hillick going your side at the 40. Jamal the second, his third catch in the second half, as we are south of 11 this fourth quarter. So this is dink and dunking, but there's a penalty in the play. But this is not going to help the Mustangs if they're going to go dink and dunk. Yeah. And that won't help either in their approach. And They have to abandon the element of caution now, and this becomes a little bit tougher as the Fitbit going in reverse.
Fitbit going in reverse indeed. Yeah, the score clock there and the game clock, they just can't leave it to be too little too late, and it's harboring on that at this point.
Hillick, play action, has time, can eat a sandwich, have a coffee, throwing, flagging the play, dropped by Magnay Jones, and he might have gone over the line of scrimmage perhaps.
I think he should have just ran for it.
And this is going to go in favor of the Carabins.
Yeah, they're going to decline the penalty. I do believe that he was ahead of the line of scrimmage.
Passe avant, non réglementaire. Western, illegal forward pass, Western.
So,
yeah.
for Hillick.
Second down.
And I don't even think it was close. We're looking at that 25-yard line here.
And it has to be his full body over, and he was
big time
over.
Not even close. That was a good 2. Enough time to eat a sandwich and make a coffee. A full carafe of coffees.
2nd and 20. Hillick stepping up, sacked by Ojo. Jeremiah Ojo during the regular season had 5.5 sacks, but that could be the sack. That could be punched in the passports for the Carabins to Kingston, Ontario.
Yeah, big-time players making big-time plays, and we're looking at Jeremiah Ojo doing just that for the University of Montreal Carabins. And this crowd is really getting into it in Montreal. You hear those air horns, which have actually been banned at the Grey Cup tomorrow. A mainstay and a staple of Montreal football. The Alouettes, UDM, you name it.
And a high kick into the shadows, near side, Shabbat from the 50. Out of bounds, flagging the play. And you can see now the frustration starting to boil a little bit for the Mustangs. And for the Carabins, they are looking like they're on their way towards Kingston, Ontario for the Canada Life Vanier Cup. 27-3 lead. You're watching this on CBC, the Uteck Bowl.
Non-respect d'immunité, no yards. Pénalité de 15 verges contre Western. Premier essai, Montréal, first down, Montreal.
It was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back here to the Sepsum, and don't forget Vanier Cup tickets. Go online, scan the QR code, or go to usports.ca/tickets for November 25th. And I would imagine about 6,000 Carabins fans or so in that stands will be doing so with their QR code on their cell phones.
Absolutely. You'll probably be hearing a lot of Allez les Bleus and Let's Go Blue, which was stolen off of the French Football Federation, or the
French
soccer.
National Soccer Federation, that's right.
And if we're looking at this second half, obviously the game plans are a little bit different because Montreal had such a large lead, but it's really only a 3-3 second half. The major difference being the second quarter, 17-0 for Montreal.
And that could be the decisive moment And this is a run right there for a very minimal gain is Dembele, who gets his first carry of this drive. And this game of chess right now, it's almost near perfect for the Carabins, how they've moved 2 steps ahead of the Mustangs in this ball game.
And I really don't think that they've been outcoached. I don't think that they've been extremely outplayed here. We're looking 17 first downs aside.
It's unforced errors.
It's unforced errors, and some of which were actually forced and good interceptions. Like the second interception there by Lagacé was phenomenal defensively. But it is a game of turnovers.
Has not been perfect signs for the Mustangs this afternoon. Senecal looking for the geometry. He will go short. Chabot's got oceans of space. 35, dancing up ahead, and he will dive inbounds as he avoided the hit coming from Buchanan.
As you saw Chabot doing a little out, in, out, shimmy, juke. I think at first his instinct was telling him to go out of bounds, save the body a bit. That's what some of these smaller receivers are taught. But no, staying in bounds, as you noted, Mo, in order to help the clock run. And really just the game efficiency for them.
And right now they are trying to be efficient with this game clock management. Senecal's got a 1st and 10 from the right hash mark. Who could come up with a play for the Mustangs? Blitz to the near side. His pass coming up ahead towards the 18. Diving to the 15 is number 15 in Muganda. His second catch of the game, but a massive one to prolong this drive.
Yeah, prolonging this drive with 7:30 left. I mean, in the blink of an eye, we'll be at the 3-minute warning with the way that University of Montreal is playing here.
And you can see now how ruthless they've become with the air game. Muganda coming in. Of course, Legault got hurt earlier in the second half. So Muganda getting a couple of valuable reps right now for the Carabins. South of 7, 1st and 10 from the 14. Mustangs blitz again. Handoff. Dembele taken down by the shoelace. And he was brought down by Nixon, who's had a very active game for the Mustangs. With 6:42 left in this matchup.
Yeah, Nixon coming from the backside. That's the one flaw with having 2 pulling offensive linemen in the direction of the ball. A little bit of a second guess and a stutter step, and anyone from the backside is able to shoestring you.
Well, it was a scrappy run by Dembele, and now a 2nd and 9, so pass down perhaps for the Carabins. Muganda's occupying the width on the near right, or near left, I beg your pardon. Handoff, dancing, Chabot, 10, 5. Out of bounds by Nixon, and now it is red zone and 1st to goal for the Carabins.
Chabot coming from the backfield in a motion. And we see another pulling lead blocker and absolutely eating up, almost literally eating up the defensive line from Western is Adam Lachance, the second-year offensive lineman. He's 6'4", 433. That's not a typo. It was on a visual on your screen. I don't know how that's possible because he was moving with some speed.
He's got ballet feet.
And he went to Champlain Lennoxville.
Chabot under center, 3rd and goal. And he is stopped. Second win might have gotten him the 1st down. Western says otherwise. Robson pointing the other way. Referee coming in, trying to mark it off. And this will be a photo finish on whether or not they had to stop to keep it at 27-3. And they stop him. Western come up with a massive answer on this drive, but now with 5:22 left, they have to score points. It's go time for them.
And at this field position, they have the full field ahead of them, about 106 yards.
Stay tuned here. Western will get a last roll of the dice. They're down by 27-3 from the Uteck Bowl on CBC.
It was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. Let me hold your hand till I have my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Hey, you sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Unbelievable. History has repeated itself.
Get the stories behind the glory. Watch, listen, stream, read CBC Sports.
Welcome back here to the Uteck Bowl. In this module that we have, the theme is turnovers. And that's been the undoing of the Western Mustangs against the Carabins this afternoon at the CBC.
3 interceptions and fumbles to match. So the game started off here. The University of Montreal picking off, and that was Lagacé with a beautiful blitz to get right in the passing lane.
And this was a body blow shot right there on this INT. Gauthier in on that play.
Gauthier hitting the ball at the high point, just treating it like the ball was for him.
Yeah, and again, Evan Hillick unfortunately has had a rough afternoon.
Yeah, it seems like he got hit, took a shot, and he seems to not have as much zip behind his throws as he usually does.
Mustangs have to abandon the element of caution now. Pressure. Hillick will throw it away.
He had to.
He felt the blue breeze coming from his backside and took the option B route instead.
Yeah, good pass rush by University of Montreal, and that's Fontenard,
who's had a wonderful game so far with fumble recovery as well.
Out of France.
We were talking about how they've lived before.
Yeah, and also he did go to Cégep Tetford, which has that pipeline directly from France and French-speaking nations in Africa.
And there is Robertson, who's down right now, being looked at by the training staff. And for the Western Mustangs, they have to pull off the ultimate smash and grab. This will be the greatest escape that they would do, down by 24 with a little less than 5 to go, roughly. And you see Fontenot really blowing up the play and throwing that ball into the first row of the CBC.
Yeah, it was Matthew Unstead kind of just whiffed on the block, and there was a nice just pass rush move. It's really textbook there by Fontenard.
So Hillick gained the last rites from Greg Marshall and his staff, and now can he execute this next play to prolong it by a couple more minutes here. They're down by 24 with 5:11 left in this fourth quarter. The city of Montreal could be the epicenter for football. The Alouettes play in the Grey Cup tomorrow, and the Carabins could be in the Vanier Cup next week. Pressure. Going to his left, and he is sacked, brought down by Maxime Françon in on the sack, and a massive play. And for Françon, this was his first sack, full sack of the season. He had a half a sack coming into this game.
Yeah, the first sack of the season and the playoffs, and at such an opportunistic time. Like I said, big-time players make big-time plays, and he's doing just that. He was able to evade the block on the edge, spin off, and I don't think Hillock, thought that he had the edge on him. And he's a transfer from Laval.
And with that, Hillock will be off to the sidelines, and not his day so far on this Saturday afternoon. Shabbat, Lordering, Williamson a few yards in his end zone. Will they play the field position or boot this ball away? Not many options to work with for the Western Mustangs. 27-3 lead. Williamson will concede the 2, so a 29-3 lead. And the vibrancy and the freedom of approach by the Carabins in the first half has been their passport to where they are right now, up by 26.
Yeah, on that play call, I'll just come back to it really quickly. I'm a little surprised. I think knowing Greg Marshall, I would think that in a situation like this, he might be a little bit more gutsy and actually go for it. I mean, it was 3rd and 12, but
You wonder though, Andrew, because they had chances in the first half where they had third downs at midfield, but opted to punt the ball away and took the safety route first. But this game got away from them, and slowly those body blows from the Carabins has now led to this potential knockout punch right now with 4:09 left. If they can kill off the clock or score a few more points, add to the insurance policy.
And I mean, realistically, where it got away was that second quarter. Montreal only 7 points. It was 7-0 going into the second quarter. 17 unanswered going to the half.
And for Marc Di Luca, a close rapport with Alouettes GM Dan Machocha, who preceded him at UDEM. And he takes over for him, and now one of his closest friends with the Alouettes watching his understudy. And Di Luca perhaps punching his ticket to the Vanier Cup, the Canada Life Vanier Cup next weekend. And it could be, like I've said before, Montreal could be the epicenter for football, Canadian football, the next 2 weekends coming up.
Yeah, after Montreal's major upset over the Argos last week in the Eastern Final. I don't think anyone saw that. I mean, some people called it, but I thought I was going to...
I have proofs that I called it to a T.
Did you?
I have evidence on Twitter.
Is that so?
People gave me props for that. That was my walk-off, like George Costanza. And right now the Carabins want to walk it off in this fourth quarter, and they're trying to grind it out, tackle to the 35-yard line. Is Girard on that, and now the U of M fan base giving their song rendition with the 3-minute warning. 29-3 lead for the Carabins over the Mustangs. And the fan base can start booking their tickets down to 401. You're watching the 2023 Uteck Bowl on CBC. The Carabins are getting closer and closer towards the Canada Life Vanier Cup.
It was my greatest thrill, but we just stood still. Let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Hey, you sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Unbelievable! History has repeated itself!
Get the stories behind the glory. Watch, listen, stream, read CBC Sports.
Welcome back here to the Uteck Bowl. We are wrapping up from the campus of Université de Montréal. It is a beautiful day, and it's a gorgeous day in Vancouver, BC. We're going to head out west. Mark Lee, Deshaun Stevens will have the call for the 2023 Mitchell Bowl just after 3 p.m. East, 12 p.m. Pacific on CBC, of course. Boy, BC is a beautiful province, and they are very lucky to call that game. St. FX against UBC, East Coast versus West Coast, and whoever wins that game will be going to the East Coast, well, Central Ontario, to Kingston, Ontario.
Yeah, and St. FX going across 4 time zones, thousands of kilometers. They had some plane issues, travel issues, but no worse for the wear. I hear they're very optimistic, and what truly will be the first major test to that St. FX season. UBC has faced some animosity throughout the season. University of Alberta surprised a lot of people and had a storied season for that program.
There's the Uteck Bowl right there. And speaking of that, UBC pulled off the ultimate smash and grab at the end, a sucker punch to win that game over at Alberta.
Yes.
And you know what? St. FX could have been going to Edmonton for the Mitchell Bowl as opposed to Vancouver, BC.
A lot colder.
A lot colder, and you know, the Golden Bears, a wonderful year for that program, taking the next step in the Can West. But right now, the Mustangs trying to take a step forward, and Kabongo does not get that step up ahead. And with 2:27 left, the Carabins now just have to close out this game, and they'll be on their way to Kingston.
Kabongo's been silenced throughout the game. I mean, he averages over 27 yards per return, and I don't have the average right now in front of me, but it looks like it might be around 5 or so from what we've seen.
A beautiful trophy, the Uteck Bowl, won by many. In fact, when you think about the Uteck Bowl, Laval's won it, Montreal's won it twice, and they're about to win it for the third time in 4 tries. And you see that, no touchdown given by the Carabins in 204 minutes of play. Hillick rolling, flagging the play. Hillick is going to throw one, and that's caught out of bounds by Magne Jones, but will that stand?
Yeah, it's going to be a holding call.
Holding Western, pénalité de diverge, 10-yard penalty.
That's your favorite penalty. You being a former D lineman.
There's holding on every single play. It's just if you're like within a yard of the line of scrimmage and within the box, they're never going to call it. You got to really be at end if they're tugging on the jersey and if it's really visible.
So you're saying you embellish some of your calls to get the holding calls?
Definitely not.
Well, we'll have to look at the replay afterwards.
It's tough to try to embellish mid-play, especially with some of the tackles there in the queue.
I think your highlights are on
Big boys.
Standard HD or standard definition over there. We'll have to look at those.
4K HD.
Well, right now it's been 8K HD for the Carabin effort. Hillick sacked, brought down in the backfield of the 21-yard line, and this time Cisse in on the party of sacks on Evan Hillick.
Cisse, the second-year player out of Trois-Rivières, played at Cégep Garneau in Quebec City, the Élan. And he looks...
the part.
He definitely looks the part. He's a big boy. He's 270 pounds at 6'2".
And right
just
now,
dragging him down.
The Mustangs have no answer for that front four. So whoever will face them, St. FX or UBC, get ready for that front four because it is the deluge of blue coming at you.
I mean, we saw Samuel Fontaine right there just getting triple teamed.
2nd and 24. Short pass near side, Magne Jones, and you would have to imagine this is 3-down territory for the Mustangs.
I mean, it has to be. There's no question about it. This is, and too little too late for 3-down territory at that. You never know. But if I'm a betting man here, I'm going to assume that Montreal is going to Kingston next week.
The RSQ, they were 10-2 coming into this bowl game. The OUA 3-3 coming into this bowl game.
Because the Uteck Bowl does switch between who hosts it, if it's
a rotation as well.
AUS, RSEQ, CanWest.
Yeah, the whole algorithm, how it works out right now. Don't want to get too, that's very complicated for my brain. I can't really do that stuff. But right now, this is a very simple effort of breaking it down. The Carabins are on their way with a 29-3 lead over the Western Mustangs. Andrew, when we look at it now, I mean, you mentioned before the second quarter was the downfall for the Mustangs because otherwise it's almost 50-50 in how this game played out for the Mustang defense playing very well.
The Mustang defense have honestly, it's not indicative of 29 points. University of Montreal and Western have very similar team offense statistics. It's just the field position and the turnovers that Montreal has had over Western.
Pressure now, flag in the play and hit in the head. Lassard got a hand on the helmet, but not too sure if that will be called because that came before the contact to the helmet. But Jeff's helping out Hillick, and again, he played like a warrior today. Evan Hillick was a warrior out there.
He really did. I mean, he's got 2 OUA second-team All-Stars and a first-team All-Star on his O-line, but this Montreal fortress on the mountain at their front four have been too much for Western to handle.
Yeah, it's been a trip endured, not enjoyed today by the Mustangs.
He's had his most success when they've had an extra blocker in the box.
And this will be a long ride back to London. And a lot of pondering by the Mustangs. You've been in this position, losing playoff games.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest night to sleep because you ask yourself what could have gone this way, could have gone that way. What if we did this or that? And unfortunately from Western, they couldn't get that going in the right direction.
Yeah, and then even watching the game film.
Retenu. Western, cette pénalité est refusée. S'être débarrassé du ballon, Western, cette pénalité est acceptée. Turnover on down. Premier essai, Montréal.
And stay tuned for the players of the game, which we'll have here the post-game coverage of the Uteck Bowl. And we'll ship you out to the West Coast for the Mitchell Bowl. Deshaun and Mark Lee will have that call for you from lovely Vancouver, BC. And it'll be a Montreal weekend of celebration for now, with the big one tomorrow for the Grey Cup. And then next week, the Canada Life Vanier Cup. Could the Carabins win their second Vanier Cup since 2014? And Halafu will get up towards the 20-yard line with 1:17 left. So the clock is rolling. And we enter the final minute. This will be the last home game for the Carabins this season. And they'll send their partisans on a happy note as they'll punch their ticket. Don't forget to scan the QR code for your Vanier Cup tickets to Kingston, Ontario, if you are a Carabins fan on this week.
Yeah, the Montreal faithful definitely travel well. They will be there. Air horns, blue, everything.
Blue sea, man.
You name it. It is going to be a sea of blue out there in Kingston next week. I mean, it's a pretty far trip for St. FX and exponentially further for University of British Columbia for their home fans.
Well, Richardson Stadium is home of Queens, which is navy blue, red, and gold. It might be a sea of blue. It's going to be a blue color because you have UBC and St. FX with blue foncé, blue marin, dark color blue colors here. So this is going to be a blue no matter how you look at it.
And the Mitchell Bowl winner is actually going to be the home team wearing the darks. And Montreal will be wearing their whites.
And you wonder for the Carabins what color to go with here. And now a third down. And we'll let the crowd take the rest of the way.
Montreal.
Timeout called by the Carabins. 11 seconds left in this Uteck Bowl. And 2 years ago, it was a crestfallen Carabin team losing to the Saskatchewan Huskies, who came from behind to win that game. And it has been a long 2-year odyssey for them. And here they are now, punching their ticket to Kingston.
I remember watching that game, and I was jaw-dropped with the way that University of Saskatchewan came back to upset the Montreal Carabins.
And who did Sask lose to the following week? Western.
At Laval.
That's right. Which was a
fairly snowy day there in Quebec City.
The Blue Eye Boys will have the Uteck crown above their heads as they head down to Kingston for a chance at football supremacy as they take out the Western Mustangs to win the Uteck Bowl over the OUA champions. Greg Marshall shaking the hands of the Carabin teams, and there he is consoling his players. And this is tough for those playing their last ever game as a Mustang. And there they are, two close friends, Adiluka and Marshall, sharing an embrace.
Yeah, and I think the thing that will sting the most is after the Yates Cup, Greg Marshall said it's one of the most special teams that he's ever coached. Special bunch of guys and group of guys, and he's been coaching for decades now. So that says a lot, and just the disappointment knowing that they probably could go toe-to-toe with this University of Montreal team, but they weren't able to execute when it mattered.
And now the toughest handshake, you can see the emotions coming through some of the Mustangs right now, the elation for the Carabins. St. Cyr had a pick 6 against Laval in the Dunsmore Cup. Didn't need him today. They had others.
Yeah.
Nick Roy being one of them, who was absolutely wonderful. And there's Greg Marshall, one of the class acts of the OUA. A wonderful conversation I had with him multiple times this week, and he was insightful, and he was straightforward about what they had to do. And unfortunately, on this afternoon, they couldn't get that going in their favor.
No, they really couldn't, and they had some sparks in the middle of the third quarter, but really very little to no meaningful offensive production. On paper, the offensive production was actually not all that bad, but they were not able to finish.
No. And Greg Marshall, he's one of the very few non-Quebec programs to come into this province of Quebec and recruit.
Yes.
He had 6 guys from Quebec play for him, and all 6 had a role this year. So you have to wonder now, Western could be a big-time player in the recruiting world coming back into Quebec to get more guys to come out to the lovely area of London, Ontario.
Yeah, that dates back to when Mickey Donovan was the recruiting coordinator at Western in the early 2010s and late 2000s. And Mickey obviously played at Concordia University in Montreal and had a bit of a pipeline there. But Western, fantastic. Outside of University of Ottawa, that has actually more French programs than Anglo programs.
I had no idea.
Yeah. The Western Mustangs have actually done a really good job at successfully recruiting in Quebec.
And here's Dane Touchette.
Ce revirement encore aujourd'hui, c'est incroyable.
Ben, c'est un aspect de j'allais dire de la game. C'est un aspect qu'on travaille toutes les semaines. Il y a beaucoup d'emphase qui est mise sur créer des revirements. C'est l'objectif qu'on s'était fixé à la fin de l'année l'an passé, que cette année, on était à donner les valeurs offensives le plus souvent possible. Puis on a travaillé là-dessus à toutes les semaines. Puis l'autre secret, c'est que ces gars-là sont malades. Là. C'est des gars qui ont du plaisir ensemble, plaisir dans les pratiques, plaisir dans les meetings. Puis ça transpire beaucoup sur le terrain dans tout ce qu'on fait. Ça fait que ça donne ce que ça donne en ce moment. On est très fiers de nos gars. Là.
On dit que la défensive remporte les championnats. On l'a vu dans les 2 dernières semaines. Qu'est-ce qui fait que les Carabins, cette année, ont tout ce qu'il faut pour se rendre jusqu'au bout?
C'est certain que défensivement, j'aime ça dire à mes joueurs que ça pose sur nous. Puis les gars, ils embarquent là-dedans. Puis peu importe ce qui arrive, peu importe les hauts et les bas d'un match, il y a tout le temps un bon moral. Puis on est tout le temps prêt à relever les défis. On aime ça, jouer au foot. Fait qu'on joue en masse, on aime ça.
Ça serait ça. Merci, Denis. Félicitations. Je te laisse aller célébrer. On va faire une courte pause au retour.
So there's Dane Touchette, the DC of the Carabins. He said all week long they put in a lot of effort. It was been a wonderful week of preparation. The heart and soul of this team has come through for them, and he's so happy with how this played out for them. Stay tuned for more coverage here for the Uteck Bowl. Carabin winners, they're going to Kingston for the Canada Life Vanier Cup on CBC.
My greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Was my greatest thrill when we just stood still. You let me hold your hand till I had my fill. Help you to see you through.
Whatever life looks like to you, we're here for it. For life as you know it. Insurance, investments, advice. Canada Life.
Welcome back. You're looking live at the post-game celebrations from the Sepsum. The Carabins victorious over the Western Mustangs. They're going to Kingston, Ontario for the Canada Life Vanier Cup next Saturday. Scan the QR code and go online to get your tickets. We know that the Montreal fans will go down the 401 for that game as well. And we do have the player of the games here, Mr. Andrew, and how this played out for them. And we'll get to that in a couple moments here on our screen as we anticipate who we think will be.
I have a feeling.
And here we go, Mr. Bartlett. And
number 21 on the defense, Waugh. That is the Sam backer there, Nicolas Waugh. Stats line: 2 solo tackles, 4 assisted tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a crucial first interception that I truly think set up Montreal to get in the head of Hillock and create the difference at the end of the day, which was overthinking, less execution, and too many turnovers.
Definitely indeed. And there is Danny Touchette, the DC, the mastermind. They've not given up a touchdown in like 10 years.
6 sacs du quart. Alors, retrouver Justine maintenant pour la remise.
Not quite 10, but close.
Uteck Cup Protocol Ceremony. Pour l'animation des cérémonies, rejoignons en direct du terrain et sur les ondes de TVA Sport, Justine Saint-Martin.
Bon après-midi, mesdames, messieurs. Je pense qu'on peut donner d'abord une bonne main d'applaudissements aux 2 équipes et aux Carabins. Mon nom est Justine Saint-Martin, animatrice à TVA Sport. Je suis très heureuse d'être l'animatrice pour les cérémonies d'après-match aujourd'hui de cette Coupe Uteck 2023. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justine Saint-Martin from TVA Sports. Justine Saint-Martin. It's my pleasure to be with you today, to be your MC for the 2023 Uteck Bowl post-game ceremonies. Veuillez accueillir maintenant sur la scène Pierre Arsenault, chef de direction de U-Sport, qui sera accompagné de Daniel Jutran, recteur de l'Université de Montréal, et du chancelier de l'Université de Montréal, Franz Saint-Élémy. Please welcome on stage U-Sport CEO Pierre Arsenault, and he's joined by head of UDM Daniel Jutran and UDM Councillor Franz Saint-Élémy. Et maintenant pour le joueur défensif Nike du match, the Nike Defensive Player of the Game Award. Numéro 21, number 21, Nicolas Roy. Nicolas, autre match exceptionnel de cette défensive. Quel est votre secret? 6 revirements encore. Comme quoi la défensive remporte les championnats.
Oh, on est bien coaché, tout le monde fait ce qu'il a à faire, puis c'est vraiment tout.
Il y a quelque chose de bien spécial qui est un joueur pour moi bien important, c'est la chimie dans ce groupe-là qui a été présente tout au long de la saison. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a de si spécial dans le vestiaire des Carabins cette année qui pourrait vous permettre d'aller jusqu'au bout?
On est une famille. Carabin, oui. Carabum, let's go!
So they're a family, Carabin way, and the slogan, Carabang, is what they've lived by with the Carabin.
Cette saison encore.
Ça fait du bien, on travaille pour ça depuis janvier, mais il y a juste une chose, we're not done yet.
Nicolas Roy, votre joueur défensif du match.
Well, you heard him, Andrew. They're not done yet. Not done yet. That was simple translation right there for those watching from home.
Du match Nike. The Nike Offensive Player of the Game Award. Numéro 12, number 12, Jonathan Sénécal. Jonathan, saison exceptionnelle, autant sur le plan personnel qu'en équipe qui se poursuit. C'est quoi le secret à l'attaque?
Yeah! Honnêtement, pour vrai, c'est tout le monde à l'attaque qui fait sa job, puis honnêtement, we're just balling out, so let's go.
Jonathan, c'est un rêve qui va se réaliser. Tu vas faire partie de la Coupe Vanier la semaine prochaine. Qu'est-ce que ça représente pour toi? Je sais que tu l'as rêvé, celle-là.
Comme Nick a dit, man, we ain't done yet.
So Jonathan said.
Je sais que ton co-chambreur, Carl Chabot, autant que les autres joueurs, vous êtes tellement proches. Qu'est-ce que ça représente de vous rendre si loin puis que ce soit une occasion, encore une fois, d'avoir un match supplémentaire pour ce groupe aussi uni?
Ben pour vrai, on a genre vraiment du fun à jouer ensemble. Fait que c'est ça qui donne le juice cette année. Fait que je suis vraiment fier de tout le monde cette année. Let's go, now.
Merci, Jonathan. Félicitations
So essentially
encore.
said it's been a lot of fun. Everyone's been bringing the juice, their family, and they ain't done yet to come with one more game to go in Kingston for the Canada Life Vanier Cup.
On invite maintenant les capitaines des Carabins à monter sur scène pour la remise de la bannière et du trophée. We now invite the Carabin captains to come on the stage to receive the trophy and banner. Donc, les champions 2023 de la Coupe Uteck, les Carabins de l'Université de Montréal.
Rocking on them jiggers, on the money. You ain't talking money, I don't hear you. You ain't gotta touch my own.
And there you have it, the greatest, well, second greatest team photo, because the ultimate one is next week for the Vanier Cup, the Canada Life Vanier Cup. I see Marco Di Luca enjoying the moment, knowing that the job's not done yet with one more to go. And 7 days from now, you see the captains, the leaders, St. Cyr out there leading the dancing brigade they had there. They might be on Dancing with the Stars by the time they're done with this effort of trophy celebration over here.
They're having a ball.
Yeah.
And they're doing hover hands. They're not touching the trophy.
No,
and I actually like that call. The conference championship and the Vanier Cup is the only one you want to touch.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it is a very nice trophy, the Uteck Bowl, but they are definitely enjoying the moment here. The fans are on the field, and that puts a bow to the Sepsum campaign, and now they get ready. They'll enjoy it tonight, because come tomorrow, they start to reload and get ready for Kingston, and Queen's University being the site of the Canada Life Vanier Cup. And a beautiful stadium, but nonetheless, it went under some renovations, so they were displaced from their home last year, and they didn't go as far as they wanted to with Laval knocking them out. But this year, they're back home. They took care of business, took out Sherbrooke in the semifinal, took out Laval in a classic Laval-Montreal battle, 12-6.
Yep.
And they beat Western this afternoon for the Uteck Bowl, and no one's touching the trophy.
I love the superstition.
What's that line? You can look but don't touch?
Exactly.
That's what they're doing right now. You can look but don't touch. Huh?
Hover hands. Oh, it was close. Yeah, this University of Montreal team is a special bunch of guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of them go in after the game, after they're all iced up and whatnot, and catch a bit of the next game, the Mitchell Bowl.
And final thoughts here, Andrew, on this game.
Montreal capitalized. Western had far too many turnovers. It's as simple as that. We didn't have the production that we were used to with Hillock all season long. And uncharacteristic play, lack of offensive production because of it.
Well, that would do it for us here from the Sepsum. Up next, the Mitchell Bowl. Stay tuned for that game, UBC against St. FX. Bye for now.